All right. Good morning, Monty. Good evening, and everybody in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Glad to have everybody here this morning. How y'all are doing? How are y'all doing?
Yeah, we're good. We're good, and good to be in your company. It is a good morning over there. I hope sun is shining, the weather is sweet, and we're ready to get down to the Southern Guna beat.
Yep. Tony.
Yeah, guys.
You know,
see, it doesn't get better than this. Yeah, I'm with Manny. I'm with the Southern Gunner. We're on the southern side. Yeah, guys, it doesn't get better than this. Yeah, you just made my day, my brother, man. Sitting me next to Manny, who I respect so much, and sitting next to you too, to just talk about this Arsenal game coming up against Wolves, and promises to be a great show, guys.
Yep. Well, tomorrow, we thought tomorrow would be the coronation party that we would be dancing and we would be singing "We Are Top of the League" and jigging and bopping and having a good time. And tomorrow is just going to be another game. It looks like it's just going to be another game, a wasted opportunity. Just another game to add the salt into the wound. Gentlemen, me personally, I would rather just roll out the academy team tomorrow and call it a day for me. And let's just get this season over with, because this will be one. Me personally, I think we'll look back in about 2 years and we'll look back at this as a completely huge missed opportunity. So, gentlemen, thoughts on going into tomorrow? Either one of y'all can go. It doesn't matter if whoever wants to go first.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Matt. It is going to be afternoon to you, Mr. Collins.
Brother Jez
sorry,
Jez.
I know you don't. I know you don't like being called that anymore. My apologies, sir. And you said it perfectly. It is going to be a case of why are we even here? We were supposed to be, celebrating a league title. Instead, we're just going to come over there and be reminded that we completely bottled it. It is going to be an even worse bottle job than some of the other bottle jobs we've had prior to this. I remember in 2003 when we ended up losing what should have been a second consecutive Premier League and potentially a second consecutive League and Cup double. That was quite simply a horrible collapse. And if I never see Pascal Segan near the Emirates or anywhere near Arsenal again, it will be too soon. I call him the Frank Leboeuf doppelganger, just as awful a defender. He didn't even get to play for France. And this one, though, to lose the league with effectively 3 games for Manchester City left. It's the worst point swing leading to a bottle job in history. Speaking of bottle jobs, I'm witnessing a bottle job right now in Dortmund where, Borussia are just allowing their chance of winning the Bundesliga to slip away. But of course, let's not forget, even if they lose, if Bayern Munich end up drawing to Cologne, it could still be a Dortmund title. But as you've said, Matt, it might be best to just have a completely changed team. There are some players who've played. Nice one, long-haired Yeti. I saw what you did there.
Yeah.
I really hope that we should. I think we should just play an almost fully changed team, a combination of youth and experience. Get some of the academy kids out. Someone like Ethan Waneri, who was brought on in a league game against, I think it was Fulham, at the Emirates, to give him the record of being the youngest ever player to play in the Premiership. Arteta never even selected him for a single squad after that, not even for a League Cup or a Europa League game. Pitiful. So bring some youngsters in, get some of the fringe players in. USA interests should be satisfied with Matt Turner being given a home start. I want to see that happen. He deserves it. Get Tierney on for a last hurrah. Xhaka as well. Jorginho, maybe Trossard, Reece Nelson. I seriously don't want Eddie Nketiah to play. I really don't think he's earned the right to have an Emirates farewell. But I mean, in a nutshell, let's just have a changed team with some fringe players and some young players. Let this be at least a nice way to end the season so that we can see whether or not some of these players are really good. Let them show what they're made of. And then we can look forward to next season just getting this thing over with, really.
Tony?
Yeah, Manny, thanks for that roundup. Let's see, Matt, for some reason, tomorrow, I don't want Arsenal to win. It's a scheme of, this is a scheme. Grand scheme. It's eye-popping, It's eye-popping.
Firing shots.
Yeah, it's eye-popping. But I'm serious, guys. I don't want Arsenal to win tomorrow.
Speak on it.
For some serious reasons. For some reasons, I don't trust this board. Finally, I've come to that realization, It has always been there. But you know what, I don't seriously trust this board. We can go ahead and beat up Wolves tomorrow, and that board will come up this summer and tell us we'll have a good team. I'm seriously scared about that happening tomorrow. So left for me, I want them to lose. I'm sorry. We've already bottled this league already. See, tomorrow against Wolves, it's I don't even seriously see us beat Wolves tomorrow. Normally, we have injuries all around. Martinelli is injured. I don't think he even trusts Trossard. He doesn't trust Kieran Tierney. See, it's all a mess down there. I can't even trust Eddie Nketiah coming in. You heard Manny say that, Even Matt Turner, to even give Matt Turner, that appearance in the league, his first start. I don't even trust him. Is USA number 1? But I don't trust the guy. How about a good backup keeper? Aaron Ramsdale hasn't really been solid this season. Our back four is a shambles. Our number 1 guy is injured. We're bringing in Rob Holding. Tell me, Brother Matt, are you seriously telling me, that tomorrow you can say with your full chest, that the defender, I don't know who, I don't have any idea who they're going to bring in. Probably maybe Kivio, who's going to tie a shoelace, maybe later in the match in the second half, and then there'll be a goal entry into that goal net, right? Or maybe probably Rob Holding, someone who I've wanted out of this football club. See, we can't dress this enough. Wolves still have some capable players, capable of causing damage to that Arsenal team. See, these guys, let me, I'm a kind of guy that likes a little bit of statistics here and there. In 6 games, these guys, they've won 2. Can't say that of Arsenal, right? We've been losing here and there. picking up draws here and there. One of those matches was against Manchester United. There's no shame losing to Manchester United and Brighton these days anyway. Yeah, they had 3 losses. They've played 37 games this season. Goals scored 31, conceded about 53 goals this season. They're 13th down there, of course, in the Premiership, and just got in 41 points. But if there's anything that we could actually take away from Arsenal this season, is the way we gift points to these guys in the bottom half of the league. We've sincerely, gifted the title to a team in the same game, and in that same game, given a breath of fresh air to another team to stay in the Premiership. It's all Arsenal. We did this, in the last game. That's how bad that team is. See, on normal standings, I don't see us beating Wolves. I'm sorry, I don't see us beating Wolves tomorrow. And I will be happy if we lose that game because of the board. I don't want the board to come up with any excuse. If we go ahead and win that game tomorrow, this board will have something to say. They'll say the team is good. It was only a momentary blip, in form. And see, we're already hearing that they're going to Galatasaray to get a player, bidding for a 17-year-old. All these things, form a grand scheme. I'm scared. I don't want Arsenal to win against Wolves tomorrow. I'm sorry.
Well, I picked I actually yesterday my pick was, I think I made a draw. I think it was 1-1. If I'm not mistaken, if I can remember correctly. I think that was I think Jez might remember. I think I said 1-1 if I'm not mistaken. But I don't with the way we've been playing this year, especially after the run of form, I just, any team is capable of beating Arsenal. We see this. Any team is capable of beating Arsenal. And so it wouldn't surprise me if we got blew away. Like I said earlier, I'd rather just roll out the academy players. Let me see this 15-year-old. It was hyping up, and it is what it is. And so I'm just ready to get this thing over with, this season over with, so that we can get down to the meat and potatoes. So this week, of course, gentlemen, Saka announced his contract right on time. We knew this was coming. This deal has been done pretty much since February. We chalked it up as another check on Lee Gunner's prediction chart, because he said it. He said, as soon as we ball the title, they'll announce this and the kit and everything else. And here we are. So 250,000, something along that line, to Saka. Only signed him up for 4 years. And I've heard several rumors this morning, which I can't verify, but I've heard one stating that is a 2-year clause in there where we have to be competing. Otherwise, he can pretty much start looking for another club, or some kind of buyout clause is in there. My thing here is, I want to paint this scenario, and this is something we'll come back to this again later on, is that these players, because see, what's happening is people getting carried away with this Champions League deal. People are going, oh, well, back in the Champions League. Yeah, but you've got to stay in it. Just because you're in it doesn't mean all is well. No. You've got to be in it for years, consistently, And I don't think people realize that if about it, we probably are not going to be in the Champions League next year, considering how tough the field is going to be. What is that going to do for players that sign? Oh, well, are they going to have these deals where it's 2-year deals, and we're going to be sitting here trying to running down deals again? Am I making sense, y'all? Am I making sense in that? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Where if these players come in, are they actually going to sign these long-term deals to guarantee that we're going to keep them here? Me personally, Declan Rice, I feel it's either going to City or United. That's me personally, because they're going to probably come in with bigger money. Because y'all can say what you want to say. Money talk in this league. Money talks. And especially if City go in for him, you already know what the deal is, and they're already offloading, clearing their cupboards. I just think that next year is going to be very, very, very competitive when it comes to us trying to get players in, because everybody's looking for players. But the main thing here is Saka signed his deal, which is good to see that we actually got him to sign the deal. My concern is how long are we actually going to keep this gentleman here? And will he be able to improve? And will the manager run him in the ground like he did this year? He played 75 of 7, I think it was 75, 78, or 78, 77 out of 78 games, or some wild number. But we ran him into the ground, and you saw what happened there towards the end of the season where he tapered off. Hopefully he can get some rest this summer, recover, and we'll get to the cover for him in just a second, because we got the cover. I'm gonna tell y'all who the cover is in just a second for Saka for next year. But Monty, Tony, I'll let you start this. Tony, we'll let you go first on this. Saka's deal has been renewed, and brother, what's your thoughts on it, my friend?
Yeah, just before I get into that Saka deal, you just said something about Man City, and they trying to, get new players, probably maybe a Declan Rice. These guys will go and get the biggest players and offload. You forgot to add down there in your epistle that you just laid out right now, that they're trying to offload a certain 31-year-old guy called Godowan to Arsenal. We're at the back end of this acrimonious deals. Players nearing 30, 31, 32. We have at least up to 3 midfielders who are in the 30s in that Arsenal midfield right now. Jorginho, Thomas Partey, El Neni, who the club just gave a 1-year deal, and he hasn't even kicked football this year for us. At the end of these horrible deals. And I'm sorry, I don't want another 31-year-old to come and form the fulcrum of another pension system at Arsenal Football Club. You just talked about Bukayo Saka. You know what? I really wanted Arsenal to move. Probably me and you have also discussed this, both on my show and, of course, on my own show too, Southern Gunner. I talked about Arsenal moving swiftly to get deals to Bukayo Saka to sign him up quickly. And also with that Saliba deal lingering here and there, I just wanted us to just cover up those deals, give them deals. Then after at least securing our main players, then we can at least go into the summer transfer window, with a clear head, with a clear transfer plan. So I won't lie, they did it. Somehow they pulled this off, and I like it. I want the kid to stay, But again, giving that kid a new deal without going into the summer transfer window to get adequate cover, not just the cover, Mind you, next season, we're going to fry the bigger fish. We talked about this, that bigger fish, And in frying that bigger fish, you need oil, Just like this season, we're going toe-to-toe with Man City, and we didn't have oil to fry the fish. No even seasoning to fry the bigger fish. So we do need a big squad, not just a big squad, but a quality squad next season to fry all this fish. And you know what, next season, I told you, Southern Gunner, next season, I want to win the Mickey Mouse Cup. I want to go in for that Carabao Cup. I'm shameless right now. I want to go in, win the Carabao Cup. I want to win the FA Cup next season. I want to go into the Champions League and give a good account of myself. Well, Arsenal Football Club, with that big, we take the highest ticket taken in the whole of England. The fans deserve more. We can go into that transfer market, create a big, huge squad, go in, put a cheeky bid down there for Rafinha, come in, give Bukayo Saka a run for his money. How about Moussa Diaby, We're talking about a deal for Granit Xhaka right now. They've come in to bid for him with a very shameless deal, about £15 million. How come do we sell our best players, Granit Xhaka has been our midfield marshal for how many seasons? One of the strongest. Why can't we get 20, 25 million? Who are the people doing these deals for Arsenal Football Club? Good. Okay. You want to sell him for £15 million, to Bayer Leverkusen. Why not take the best of the players? When all these people come to Arsenal, they take the best of the best away from us. Why can't we get the best from these clubs? Go in, get a Moussa Diaby, give Bukayo Saka a good run, or a good rest, if you like to say that, Why can't we go for all these players? So good deal for Bukayo Saka. I want him to be in our team, but he deserves, someone who would come in and and just show that competitiveness. Yeah, who's willing to come in and say, you know what, I want to fight for that shirt. Yeah, even if Bukayo Saka has become kind of like a godlike folklore, at Arsenal right now. I want to see competition for places in that spot that he occupies right now. So let's see what happens. But I love this deal and how swiftly they moved to actually give him this new deal. I will give it to the board. I love it.
All right, Monty.
Yeah, everything that Tony has said. Of course, we can all agree that the PR was so brazen in that they decided to announce this deal just after after our fate was sealed in the title, so that we could be distracted from the absolute bottle job that we ended up doing. And one thing I think on which we can all agree is that Saka has been burnt out, because it's as if when it comes to Saka, what angers me is that Arteta just doesn't seem to understand that in addition to being overplayed for Arsenal, he is also perpetually a first choice player for Gareth Southgate with England. So that's sort of an impact, having to play every single international game, playing every single club game. You can't keep playing some of your youngest players all the time and take for granted that because they have bounds of energy, they can handle it. Sometimes they can't. There are some players who might end up not being able to handle the stress of playing. What's the guarantee that we won't see another Christian Eriksen, who very nearly ended up collapsing and dying on the field, for heaven's sake? And of course, Matt, Tony, I'm sure both of you will remember the tragic case of Marc-Vivien Foé, who passed away in the Confederations Cup before the, I think it was, I don't recollect whether it was after the 2002 World Cup or before, but
it was after.
That was,
yeah,
it was after. So we see for ourselves that, health is something that can't be taken for granted. And clearly, the fact that it was no coincidence that Saka's performances started to taper off. We do need some cover. And that is why I'm happy that we secured him to a deal. The only problem is, again, the money that's being on offer been offered to him. It can either be a blessing or a curse. He is young and he is hungry, and I think a lot of our fans have made it crystal clear that they believe that, unlike Ozil, for a start, he will definitely continue to perform well. But it might be. I'm one of these believers that we need a salary cap in football with some incentives offered for performances. That way, you won't see too much of a problem of the richest clubs snapping up all of the talent and leaving the other clubs fighting to try and compete. But in addition, you won't see too much money being awarded to players and having that money lead to a decrease in performances. Sadly, I don't think that will necessarily. I don't think that'll happen, because that might end up causing a lot more friction among players than otherwise.
Yeah.
So it is good that we've secured the new deal, but again, we need to make sure that we strengthen the squad. And I'm a little bit worried that in giving so much money for this contract, we leave ourselves with even less money with which to maneuver when it comes to getting new players coming in and improving the squad.
Right here, we've got Cyborg Ninja. Plenty of great free agents this summer, but we will overpay for an overrated player for the sake of tweets, picks, and of course, kits. And here is this next two chats are exactly right where I wanted to go. I want to talk to you all about the cover. I heard Tony saying that we need somebody to come in and challenge Saka. Well, here we go. This week, we've learned on yesterday, 4-year deal on the table. 4-year deal on the table for Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson, is here. Kyle Walsh, we know how he feels. If you watch Deadboard the other day, you know how he feels. And then, Brother Burden. Good morning, Matt. In regards to Nelson, the money spent on renewing his contract could have been spent on better players to improve the squad. This is a habitual habitual problem with this football club. Monty and Tony, we did the same thing with Rob Holding. We do this with average players. I'm not saying he's a horrible player. What I'm saying is, does he warrant a 4-year deal to get locked into that?
You're not even looking at the bigger picture, Brother Matt. Yeah, this guy rejected a deal from Arsenal 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. He rejected even those offers 3 times before trying to accept this 4th one we've just given to him. A player like Rhys Nelson rejecting 3 offers from Arsenal. Think about it. Let that sink in. And we're going to the Champions League next season. That's why I'm not so assured that this board might do what it's necessary. And you know what? Yeah, Manny brought up a very important point that kind of like just slipped through the cracks down there. Arsenal, for some reason, have invested lots of money into this Bukayo Saka deal. I think we need to talk about that. Yeah, that needs a shout. Manny brought that up. And Matt, I think maybe it slipped through your cracks a little bit. I think we have to talk about that.
Let's talk about this money, because that's a lot of cash, a lot of dough.
300. It's too much. Yeah. In the next 3-4 years, will we, maybe in the next 2 seasons, do you think we'll find ourselves in the same space like Mesut Ozil in the next 2-3 seasons?
I mean, that's what concerns me. That's what bothers me about the deal. Honestly, I feel
that's
like
something big. Manny just brought up a can of worms, so we can either talk about that or because it's something big.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I think that's something that does need to be talked about. Is that you have to ask yourself. See, this is a question that needs to be posed. So if we're paying him that kind of money, does that now mean that he's right for criticism when he doesn't perform at the last 15 games of the season? Because now we're paying him as if he's, now I'm going to may anger a few folks, but I know pretty much everybody in the chat. But I'm gonna say this, Monty and Tony, and I may anger some folks, but he is not world class yet. He is not world class, but we're treating him as if he's world class. And so if we're going to hold him to the standard, if people are, he's the best player, but by far he's the best player this season, and he's carried the team, and by right he has done well. But does this deal now put criticism on the table? Now I'm a Virgo and he's a Virgo, so I know he wears himself out mentally. So I'm a Virgo and he's a Virgo. So I know he's always going in his head. So, but
yeah, some brotherly love going on down there, right?
Yeah, right.
Some nice telepathy, as it were.
Yeah, but he has to be looked at and has to be criticized, because the last 10 games of the season, well, at least 8, I know for a fact, last 8 games of the season, they were saying that he was out there playing with an injury. Now, torn ligaments. So you telling me the guy that y'all just signed for 4 years, we couldn't have a look in on him in this last run to see how he would do. You only played him, what was it, Monty? Nielsen 2 times at most, and they were both like 2 or 3 just pop-in appearances, or 4 total for the year, and then a pop-in appearance, and then now we're going to give him a 4-year deal. We're going to play Saka injured, knowing he's injured. He's out there. Think about this, y'all. Think about this. He's at West Ham taking a penalty kick, injured in a title race. So yeah, Tony, you bring up a great point. If we're going to talk about this deal, let's talk about the money that's being spent on it. Because is that going to be? Are we
Actually,
going?
Money brought that up, not me.
Money. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Money. Are we? Does this now factor into this transfer? Well, we got to pay this salary for this, and we got to pay this, and we like to quote unquote balance the books at Arsenal. So, fellas, let's open up discussion here. Let's talk about this money. Let's talk about this money that's been spent on this contract here. Do y'all think that the money was worth it? Either one of you, y'all can let's open it up.
To answer that question, you've only got to look at the last times we offered these big money contracts, and you take a look at it and you see, no, it isn't going to be worth it. And granted, Saka has had a much bigger output than those two. I'm going to come to that. We'll come back to that
I
question.
just started. We're going to come back to that. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
We will come back to that. So maybe he isn't world class by any means, but he certainly has the potential to be known as a world class player. And let's not forget, he's delivered some terrific performances for Arsenal and also for England, and he's one of the first names on Gareth Southgate's team sheet for a reason. But then there's always going to be a danger, Matt, that if he doesn't, if his performances start to slip, people are going to question his desire. And those people who do need to take a good look at themselves, because it's like they're the ones who are only too happy to support the new contract and the pay rise that came with it. And then when things don't quite go well, they gaslight him. It happened to Aubameyang, and in as much as we can say that his performance has started to dip, he was still capable of scoring a few goals if he had gotten back in a little bit of form, and he was going through some psychological issues. We still don't know what quite caused him to want to leave. I really don't know if this is proper treatment. And that point you made, if it is true that he was playing with an injury, then further shame on the managerial staff at Arsenal. How dare you presume to claim that you value him as your star boy and treat him as if he's gold dust, and then when he's injured clearly and unfit, you play him? How dare you risk breaking him down? If you care for him, do you just grind him down, run him into the ground and let him suffer? Is that the way you treat your star boy? And then you give him a huge bumper deal saying all is well, money talks. Sometimes money may have the loudest voice, but it's not always right. And that's what we're seeing over here. So we're going to have to take a look very carefully and see what happens to Saka and how Mikel Arteta treats him. And Arteta is now going to be more responsible than ever for what happens to Saka from here on in. Let's say if he starts to show the effects of some of the injuries, playing through the injuries, and doesn't quite perform well, and his performance ends up dipping, does he get made a scapegoat? Does that poor boy deserve that? And if he has an injury, make sure you have the decency to get some cover for him, proper cover. And I'm not talking about Reece Nelson, but also be transparent enough to let the fans know what is going on. We still don't know what caused Aubameyang to be thrown out of the squad. Take away the captaincy, fine, but don't just bin him and then insult our intelligence by not being honest with us about it. It's all smoke and mirrors. And I don't know if that's necessarily an endemic problem with the sports bodies of, English teams, or whether international teams or even club teams. But it seems to be quite prevalent in some teams that happen to be always in the news. And I suppose maybe they don't want to have the negative headlines. So I do worry about Saka, and this next season could very well be a bit of a watershed for the club, for the manager, and for this boy. Because if things do start to go pear-shaped, then a lot of tongues are going to be wagging. And a lot of us who have expressed these fears will certainly be saying, in the words of Sheldon Cooper, we informed you thusly.
One of the things too, I think Lee was telling me it's a $120 million buyout clause in there, something on that line. And I mean, 120. Tony, you shaking your head because you already know the $120 million buyout clause. That is a drop in the bucket to teams like PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. I mean, Liverpool, City, United. I mean, you are asking for trouble. You are asking for trouble for a player to come in, for a team to come in and just drop it. Why don't we when you hear this protection deal, and everybody in the chat, I'm blocking off your chat, so don't worry, I'm gonna come to you. Just bear with me. I trust me, it's hard. I know how it feels, Tony. It's tough trying to deal with this chat, these chats. I don't know how you and Monty do it, but when you look at how much we have, they talk about protecting value of players and this all this stuff. But here's a classic opportunity for you to protect the value of a player. A team like PSG, at least 250, 275, $300 million buyout.
Yeah.
That you could fund 4 or 5 players. Look at what City does when it's time for them to move players or they need to sell a player. They'll sell a player at top dollar and buy 3 or 4. Why is it that we do this, Tony? Why is it that we do not, when it's time to do what's right, as we say down here, when it's just, it's time to do what's right. My grandma used to have a saying, son, there's never a wrong time to do what's right. And this is an example of why don't we do what's right? Well, and go ahead and put a decent dollar amount on this young man, so that if somebody does want to come in for him in about 3, 4 years time, we could move him on and fund about 3 or 4 quality players coming in. Why do we do this?
See, Matt, it's a disgrace what's going on. Me and you, we've had countless of battles about the transfer window. That's where me and you make the loudest noise. In this case, the loudest noise being made in the room, it's full of smart heads, instead of blockheads, because we're in the right end of it. Just look at the mess we've done in the transfer window. Look at the players we've brought in. No impact whatsoever to our league title chase this season. See, with that injury noise they're making about Bukayo Saka, I'll slightly warn for us to take it with a pinch of salt. I've come to the realization that Arsenal Football Club is the best in PR spinning. We have one of the most potent PR spins ever in the whole of the Premiership. I'm telling you, I've come to the realization of this, that Arsenal's PR spin is the best in the world. We have the best technicians working on PR spin. See, I don't think Bukayo Saka had an injury. It's just excuses. And they have ready-made, PR spinners who are just down there to roll up with the news, and we fans end up, being hurt at the end of the day, hearing this, atrocious news here and there. See, to spend that kind of money on Bukayo Saka, I wanted that deal to be tied up. But I'm sorry, he becomes, placing that much money on Bukayo Saka, he becomes a walking target right now. A walking target of criticism, because when you're the highest earner Arsenal Football Club, the 3rd largest club, of course, either by winnings or whatever, in the Premiership right now, you're a walking target. You're open for criticisms. So that excuse of him being that player that has carried Arsenal for 2-3 seasons will all be dead. We'll now be judging him based on, hey, you're a top earner in this football club. You earn more than anyone in this football club. See, do you think Bukayo Saka, shouldn't be... Okay, a player like Caicedo right now, is within that range of... The club is estimating their guy to be 90 million, Arsenal is fixing Bukayo Saka's release clause to be around 100 and something, Does that correlate in anywhere? Bukayo Saka is one of the most, practically the best Arsenal player for this past seasons, But to just put that 100 million, which is, as what you said, a drop, and the pockets of this big time teams. PSG would close their eyes and put up that buyout clause. Man City, of which I'm very surprised that he wasn't holding out for a move to Man City this season. I was quite surprised at that.
It might not be this season. It may be coming. It might not be this season.
I was quite surprised about that, actually. I was expecting it to be of, but see, he'll be open to criticism, whether we like it or not. And I think that budget we place into that deal for Bukayo Saka will definitely affect incomings into the football
You want to
club.
tackle this right
And
here?
we're at the verge of finding the Champions League, right? It will be very difficult to get players in, that will fit into budgets that are lower than what Bukayo Saka is getting. Imagine if we're going for a Rafinha right now, and he looks at the deal we just offered Bukayo Saka.
I know what you mean.
They'll want more. They'll want more. You just gave the biggest deal to someone who didn't even score 25 goals this season. Yeah, so
I mean, valid.
All these other guys will look at, I deserve more. If I'm a big time player coming to Arsenal, I deserve more than Bukayo Saka. And of course, his last 10 games this season doesn't even help him at all. If you add it to all this news of he even carrying an injury, I suspect he might not play tomorrow since they're saying that he's injured, right? So last 10, 11 games, not concrete enough, and you're offering him with the whole timing and everything. I wanted that deal to be tied up quickly, but you're offering him that kind of deal coming out from 10 horrible performances. Questions need to be asked, criticisms need to be given at the end of the day, but let's see what happens next season, right? Let's see what happens.
Money.
But you definitely affect our budget. It will definitely affect our budget.
Yeah. Money. Let you tackle this right here, Brother Yeti. The big question is, would you have lost Saka if you had not offered that? Do you think that would have been the case?
No, I think that's speculation because, listen, in as much as, Saka has become a really important player, he is still, first and foremost, one of the young Hale End guys who still is very much supposedly a part of the club. He hasn't really, what you could say, hit the big time yet. I think the reason why those big contracts were offered to Aubameyang and Ozil was that they were superstars at the time who were obviously still doing the business, still at a much older age, I guess. Saka is still fairly young, but has been performing. I suppose they wanted to recognize the quality of his performances by giving him that new deal, but they probably would have Saka, I'm sure, would have taken into consideration the fact that he is still quite young and has a lot to try and prove. So as a Hale End boy, I would like to think in theory that no, he wouldn't have just upped and left. But it wasn't the player's decision to offer that contract. It sure as hell wasn't Ozil's decision either. You think of the former Chelsea defender, Winston Bogarde, former Dutch international, who was more famous for being on the bench at Chelsea, earning a king's ransom and not playing a single game. He said, well, the club offered me this money. I'm not going to say no. And in the same way, sometimes the club pretty much, dictates that things happen the way they do. But then the money also, as Tony has said, and I'm sure as you have pretty much pointed out, comes at a bit of a cost. Do we start to judge Saka more harshly? Do we put him, do we make sure that he has to be answerable for his performances? Do we start to criticize him a lot more if he fails? And do we end up effectively throwing him under the bus? And with regard to throwing him under the bus, well, if it is, I really don't know how much it is true that he may very well be injured, but then why would you even consider playing him if he's injured? What does that say to the other players in the squad, if any, who are in his position? What the hell is going on? And do you really value your boy? No, you don't. Alex Ferguson was famous for his treatment of younger players at the time, including the likes of Ryan Giggs, who said, you can't play a guy his age all the time. You've got to keep training him and coaching him and make sure that he has adequate rest. And that's sort of the way it is, sort of the way it goes. Of course, he was willing to, go against that and play Wayne Rooney a lot. But even with Rooney, he also knew when to rest him and not give him too much action. Arteta just doesn't see that. And that is another problem with, not having the adequate squad depth or squad cover. Isn't it clear as day that Arteta's a part of the problem? He is a part of the transfer committee. He must have his say, and he does have some input on what goes on. So, in as much as many of us would like to blame the board, and I'm sure Tony would like to blame the board as well, and I agree that the board are a bunch of, dirty, rotten scoundrels, the manager also has to bear responsibility for this, because when it comes to man management and treatment of players, the manager will always be, looked at. And that's why I say this season will be a watershed. We're going to find out everything that truly goes on. We're going to see for ourselves what will the impact be of that new contract, especially if Saka does end up getting an injury. He will break down if he's not treated properly.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
and that's true. And that's true. But again, he did break down this season. Yeah, those performances, shocking performances. There were times this season that Bukayo Saka couldn't even string 3 passes together. Yeah, in some games. It was shocking. A shadow of himself, especially when he came back from the World Cup. I don't know. This season is a freak season, right? Playing in the World Cup, changing the whole calendar of the World Cup. Of course, it takes its toll on these players, right? We do understand the physicality, mostly in where they played the World Cup. It was quite hot at that time. Players were, and mind you, there were lots of scrutiny with these players, of course, and because the transfer market was also lingering at that time in terms of lots of football teams going to, search for players in the World Cup and look for talent. Yeah, so everything was up for grabs in that World Cup. But coming back, you had time to rest. You had time to freshen up. At least after maybe 2, 3, 4 games that you didn't put up performances, you just have to get back into that act because you're a world-class player, right? That's the position we've put Bukayo Saka, and when you've now become the highest earner Arsenal Football Club, well, you've just offered yourself up to be the sacrificial lamb. You become the butt of criticism. So if that's what Saka wants, if you want that money, well, you better be damn ready for that criticism when they come calling.
Yep.
Like they say, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Although there is a part of me that thinks that Saka would happily have stayed at Arsenal without that heavy incremental pay rise. We're human beings. You offer us more money, we're not necessarily going to say no, are we? And that also ties into the whole Reece Nelson thing.
I was just going to say that is the perfect segue. Let's go right back to Reece Nelson money. I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
this is Tony brought it up earlier. A player like Reece Nelson turning down Arsenal 3 times. 1, 2, 3. There's 2 components here I want to tackle right quick, y'all, if y'all don't mind. One, why are we offering this gentleman? We went to the well 3 times. He said no. Why is it that we're on our hands and knees begging for a player to sign? Then this is the other component. This is what needs to start getting asked. Why are players turning us down 3 times and then they accept it? Why are they accepting it? That's the question that needs to be asked. So it took 3 times for you to take a deal. So what made you take it the last time? This is somebody brought it up. Let me bring it up. I got it started right here. Right here. Mercenaries. Look at your boy. What's your boy? Cedric Suarez. Oh, I want to come back to Arsenal next year. I want to come back. Hadn't done a damn thing at Fulham. Wants to come back now all of a sudden. Why does he want to come back? We're going to have players on the bus collecting a check, doing absolutely nothing. Money. The floor is yours.
Yeah. See, the reason why Smith Rowe rejected those deals is quite simple. It can be put down to 2 words: Edward and Ketia. This guy was offered the number 14 shirt.
Wait a minute. What was his name?
Edward and Ketia.
All right.
Oh boy. I am glad I joined this stream.
I was waiting on somebody to bring it up today. I knew it was coming.
Oh, I'm glad I joined this stream. We got the DJ Southern Gunner here, people.
We got the sauce. We got the sauce right here, brothers.
Yep. All that and more.
Money, tackle that question, man. Tackle that question.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You give a guy like Edward Nketiah £100,000 deal a week and the number 14 shirt based on a few games in which he scored as a replacement, so to speak, for Aubameyang. And you compare that to what Reece Nelson was on. And this season, Nelson has arguably had a bigger impact than Nketiah. Nketiah might have scored in a few games, but never really had impact elsewhere. I would even say that he's only really scored about 2 or 3. And then, of course, the fact that he was dropped later on the season for Leandro Trossard, who isn't even a striker, mind you. Arteta deciding that he would rather play a false 9 as using Trossard than go with Eddie Nketiah pretty much said it all. But then you get Nelson coming off the bench, trying to make something happen the way he did against Bournemouth for one, and then also against Southampton and a few other teams. You'd see that he'd be the one trying to make something happen for the purpose of trying to get a new deal. And he's ended up getting a deal, which hopefully is a little bit more to his liking. But what's the guarantee that, like other youngsters who do well when it comes to contract time, once they get the contract they want, they end up flattering to deceive? I mean, as much as we may fondly remember Joe Willock, given how well he's doing at Newcastle, of sorts, let's also not forget that near the end of his time at Arsenal, he wasn't really producing very much. You take a look at Alex Iwobi and a few others. So some of these youngsters have had their chances to, justify the salaries they've been earning if they've been increased, and they failed to do so. But then with Reece Nelson, obviously he wasn't being paid very much, and he was saying, look at Eddie. What's he done to deserve that bumper deal? Take a look at what I've done this season. Why are you not willing to treat me with more respect? I'm also a Hale End boy. I also went to the Europa League final with Feyenoord last year. So you could consider me a bit of an asset, notwithstanding the fact that I haven't really done too much prior to now. So that's where you get it. You make one stupid mistake with a contract and end up, not really getting too much out of your players. More and more players are going to take a look and say, you know what? If he gets it, why can't I? And that's why we seem to have lost our prudence when it comes to awarding contracts. It doesn't even need to be a big bumper deal like the 300 K a week deal offered to the likes of Saka, 350 for Aubameyang or what have you. Sometimes it can even be just a case of, increasing a player's salary just to keep him happy, but then watching that player not really prove himself. And that's another reason why we need to try and offload some of these underperforming players. It is right to do that, but then you're keeping players like Nketiah, you're keeping other players like El Neni and Holding, and then I get that you at least try to get rid of Joe Willock and Ainsley Maitland-Niles, although at least the fact that they seem to have been performing better away from Arsenal would suggest that maybe we were a bit too hasty. But then where is the demand for performance? Where is the accountability to make sure that performances don't drop with an increase in salary? It's as if you've got a case of inverse proportionality going on here. Why is there no real accountability? And that is why, at least with a salary cap, you sort of make it very clear that the reach should exceed the grasp, as it were. And the Assembled has said it perfectly. A precedent has been set. You cannot, I repeat, cannot award such bumper contracts based on performances in a few games or maybe a small run. It has to be throughout a season. And if a player shows some consistency, then maybe you can offer a slight pay rise. But then, as I said earlier, the money that we're spending in offering these players incremental contracts could very well be saved and kept as a part of the transfer budget. And don't get me started again on the issue of trying to be prudent with money, because again, we see more and more money being spent on frivolous ventures, we hear of something like a kickback being given by Edu to Sao Paulo to continue a business interest, as it were, with that club. That our club seriously is in need of an audit, gentlemen.
I bet, yeah. You brought it up last week. Last week, the week before last, I thought about that and was like, yeah, you know what? He is spot on, man. The books need to be looked at, man. I mean, you look at some of these dealings, man, and it's just you have to wonder. So let's segue, y'all. Let's segue. I'm sure we'll come back to it once we open the lines up here. People can call in. Let's go right here, right quick, fellas. So in 2016, so I can find my numbers right quick. Just bear with me, y'all. We brought in a player for $30 million from Borussia Mönchengladbach by the name of Granit Xhaka. I saw Tony shaking his head. He comes in 2016, and he really, for me, has been one of the most polarizing players that I think we've bought in a long time. For me, personally, he should have been removed once he took the armband off, threw it on the ground, and told all the fans, F you. That was the ultimate sign of disrespect as a captain. Last year, he cost us several games there that probably would have put us in better places. We probably would have been in the Champions League last year. He's got red cards at inopportune times to put stress on the team. And so tomorrow, I've seen fans online talking about send off in style. Thank you for being the leader that you are. I'm seeing this on Facebook and all this. Me personally, if he needs a ride to the airport, I will fly over to Heathrow, get a cab, and I will drive his ass to the nearest airport. I cannot wait to see the back of this player. I am sick of him. I am tired of him. He's 1 year of decency. 1 year. 1 year of decency out of this player. And people are acting as if we're losing Patrick Vieira. I cannot wait for him to go, y'all. I cannot wait for him to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to rate Granit Xhaka's stay here at Arsenal. And for me, I'm giving him a 4 out of 10. Monty?
I suppose, I certainly wouldn't rate him very highly. I'd probably give him a 5 out of 10 because for every time he'd showcase his ability, he'd also completely lose his head. The theory I have with Saka is that coming from Switzerland where it's cold for the better part of the year, he's naturally hot-blooded. So you get these rushes of blood to the head and he ends up doing something that any sane person would regret. I also call him the Swiss cheese, full of holes. And Warren's team talk. Good to see you, Warren. Love having you here with us.
Big ups, Warren. Warren raises some points down there. I would later talk about later on. Big ups to you, Warren.
And also for those y'all hang around, we're gonna drop the link so that people can come up. We're gonna have a round robin to talk about different things as well. Go ahead, Monty.
Yeah. Also, let me big up Warren, who has his Soccer Sunday show coming up tomorrow. He will be covering the entire chaotic last day in all the English leagues. I don't know if he's covering the championship playoff final today, but whenever he does it, it's always good fun. I've joined a few of his sessions, and he always makes it very enjoyable. But anyway, Xhaka. I said I call him the Swiss cheese. He's full of holes. His midfield play isn't really, perfect. And here's the biggest tragedy is that we had a chance to truly strengthen our midfield by going in for someone who is almost, you could say, the closest thing to Patrick Vieira in his pump, a certain N'Golo Kante. The strength he would have added to our midfield. My goodness, you could just take a look at that guy. He went on to become a world champion. I know that he is if memory serves me right, he was born in Switzerland, so I will probably have to confirm that. But look, whatever it may be, we could have really leveled up by getting N'Golo Kante, who was, of course, fresh from winning the Premiership with Leicester in that miracle season. And that, of course, is an example of how you keep your focus and do not, allow yourself to get cocky and arrogant, and you end up not bottling it. And that will always be one of the biggest shocks for a good reason in Premiership history. But also, it reminds us that in as much as Claudio Ranieri has always been an erratic manager, nobody will ever take that away from him. But still, we could have got Kante. He would have really added strength and oomph to our midfield, bossed it around beautifully. But instead, we got Xhaka. And what happened with Kante is there for all to see. He went on to become a world champion with France. He was able to backstop Chelsea to a Premiership title win. And if memory serves me right, he was also a very big part of the team which won the Champions League under Thomas Tuchel. And what have we got? Season after season of failure and disappointment. And you could almost tell, sadly, that with Wenger choosing to make that decision to sign Saka, that it was a recipe for failure. I mean, Kante was French too, so what was not to like? But with Xhaka, a lot of people have been, crowing over his season this time around, and a couple of my mates have used that to credit Arteta's man management in making Xhaka feel a lot more loved and important, saying that the transformation from being hate figure to hero, as it were, is really down to Mikel Arteta. To me, that's a mere exception to the rule because he knew that maybe he could get something out of him. But Xhaka's performances still weren't quite consistent enough. And I think if you see yourself as the leader without the armband, you've got to act like a leader. Big up as well to our Aussie friend, the Aussie Gooner, Steve-O, who has said something.
Yeah,
he said something to me in an Instagram chat that I will always remember. If you can't take yourself seriously, you have no business expecting others to take you seriously. If you want to be given the respect as a leader, you've got to act like a leader. You do not go ahead and wind up Trent Alexander-Arnold at Anfield, knowing full well that the crowd will get behind him and expect, there not to be some sort of a backlash. And you certainly do not try to be all up in people's faces. Roy Keane sometimes did that, but he knew when to do it and when not to do it. And he concentrated on doing his business on the field, as did Patrick Vieira, who was gracious and, he was gracious towards his opponents, but also very uncompromising. But with Xhaka, you got none of that. And so I'm not going to shed a tear with him. I suppose if I want to say goodbye to him, I'm going to sort of say something which is said very, very frequently on your side of the pond, Matt. See ya, would not want to be ya.
Tony, we know how much you support. We know how much you support.
Granit Xhaka, a new one out there, man. See, no, if anyone looks at Manny, they wouldn't know that he's that brutal. Yeah, this guy's an assassin with those words. Reminds me of Raymond Reddington. I'm just, in season 7 of that show. I was just watching the season 7 of it before I jumped right straight into this show. And I knew I would see someone who sounds like him, who talks like him, and who resonates like him in Manny Tangadurai. Thank you, Manny, all the time. See, this Granit Xhaka issue, yeah? You guys have been fair to him, yeah? I pride myself in not being a good person, but I pride myself in being a fair person. I'll just give him a 3.5.
Woo.
Because that's what he's worth to this football club. A 3.5. Imagine the whole season this guy has been in this football club. Yeah. Just FA Cups. Yeah. Just FA Cups. We haven't done anything in Europe. In fact, the last time we were in the Champions League was when he came that season. Yeah, that was the last time Arsenal had a Champions League berth, at all in that period, right? And it just shows the mentality of our transfer dealings at the time. And again, I wouldn't totally put it on the player himself, because at the time when he came to the football club, yeah, Gilberto Silva just left the football club. A total servant of this football club, yeah. And
he was a guy who deserved to be captain ahead of William Gallas.
Exactly.
Sorry for interrupting you, brother.
No problem. I did that was a great point. Yeah. And again, Arsenal cost this. Yeah. It's a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Yeah. Do you know why? Because when this guy came to the football club, everyone, not even before he came, slightly before he came, there was a clamor for that person who would replace Gilberto Silva, who is a central defensive midfielder, true and true, yeah, like the ilk of the Vieiras, right? That's what we wanted to see. But instead of our French legend, of course, Arsene Wenger, going in for Kante, he did bring in Granit Xhaka. Yeah, he's called that his biggest mistake in football. Well, I'll contest that, really, but he said that was his biggest mistake, right? Not bringing in Kante. Good and okay. But at that time, yeah, there's this crisis of identity of if Granit Xhaka was really a central defensive midfielder, or if he was a midfielder, an out midfielder, because we did see his plays in Switzerland. He doesn't lose his head in Switzerland. He knows when to talk in Switzerland. He knows when to shout in Switzerland. But when he comes back to Arsenal, this guy's a different animal. Yeah. And, getting that captain armband really kind of like canonized him as a big poster boy, having the leadership band of Arsenal Football Club. We crowned him and we gave him the keys to the kingdom easily, without fighting for anything. We gave him those keys. And when you give the keys to the kingdom to someone whose identity isn't really defined in the team, is he a central defensive midfielder? Is he an out and out midfielder? You just better cut to that problem for yourself. So you self-implode. So whenever we did look into bringing midfield targets, we wanted targets that won't encroach the position of Granit Xhaka. So I'm sorry, yeah, in the transfer window, Granit Xhaka has actually cost Arsenal harm than actually good. So for that, I'm giving him a 3.5. This guy doesn't deserve. See, yeah, I'm a fair guy in this way, yeah. Everyone who has toiled, who has walked, deserves that, that final last hurrah, yeah. Like, hey, thank you for your service. You get pension and you find your way home. Yeah, that would be the gesture I would give to him. But this guy doesn't deserve any legendary cultural day, for his send forth out of the football club. Yeah, we'll just take it. Thank you for the memories, Granit Xhaka. Thank you for some goals. Actually, he scored some quite good goals in this football club. But again, his legacy, all he'll be remembered for is throwing the captain armband, yeah, walking out on the Arsenal faithfuls when we needed him most to be a leader on that team.
Say that again, Tony.
In every case, this guy should have been a leader. He's failed for us, and that's a big problem. And that's my problem with Granit Xhaka. He's failed. But as a football captain at Arsenal, as a player in Switzerland, well, I think he's open to criticism because he's had good performances on a Swiss shirt, right? But on an Arsenal shirt, I'm sorry, he's been woeful. And I don't just blame him, but I also blame the board. Arsenal have just qualified for the Champions League next season. The last time we were in the Champions League, he was there. That shows his mentality. He's totally given up on Arsenal. Trust me, if Granit Xhaka, he wields that kind of power, Arsenal. If he insists, I'm staying at the club this season, I'm not going out, he will stay. That's the kind of power Granit Xhaka holds and sways. If not, why have all other managers after Arsene Wenger coddled this guy, brought this guy home, talked to him, spoke to him? They love this guy for some reason. Yeah, he holds some sway around this guy and around the football club. This guy got power. Yeah, it's more powerful than anyone in that team right now. If he decides to stay, he would stay. Don't get that twisted. Yeah, but again, he's failed at Arsenal. I'm sorry. 3.5.
If I could just correct you there, Tony. Let's not forget that it was under Emery that Xhaka was stripped of the armband. So if Emery had been backed and Emery had his way, Granit would have left Arsenal at least a few years ago. It was Arteta who really coddled him. Emery wasn't really too fond of him. It was Emery's decision to take away the captaincy from him. Remember?
Yeah. What I mean by coddled, he featured even after. That problem, yeah. He came back to the fold. He was welcome to the fold, yeah. He played for Unai Emery. He was one of the first picks, to feature in all of Unai Emery's picks. That's what I mean by the coddle, yeah. Even we're totally forgotten that our club legend, Freddie Ljungberg, right? He had him in all his classics. He had him in everywhere. So this guy, you cannot underestimate the sway he holds on this football club. And I'm sorry, that sway he holds and that power, he wields at Arsenal Football Club is just too powerful. And if there's anything I go by, I hate seeing powerful beings, like single-handedly wield power somewhere, they become dictators. They become, too powerful to control. And that's what Granit Xhaka has become in this football club. And I'm sorry, I want him out of our football club. It's just going to be thank you for your service, sir. Get your pension, be out on your way.
Let me first off, Kyle, appreciate you for joining.
Kyle, big ups to you.
We're gonna get
welcome,
you in
my brother.
I've got something special for you. You just hold tight. I got something special for you. Tony, I just wanted y'all to see this chart right quick. Arsenal transfers in 2016. Granit Xhaka, 30 million. Mustafi, 35 million. Perez, 17.1 million. Rob Holding, 2 million. That's negative. He's worth -2 now. And then to Takuma Asano, Lion King, $800,000. Two of these players actually three actually literally has had no effect on this team. Three right here. And then we paid Mustafi $35 million. So when you hear these discussions, these arguments, we're not gonna pay $40 million for this player. Arsenal never spend that on a defender. You hear this stuff now, and hear this right here. Right here. I told y'all this year, me and Tony are gonna be going through this transfer window each week during the summer. Yeah, we will hold y'all accountable this year. We're gonna be pulling numbers and figures like this. Look at this. Serge Gnabry sold for $5 million. So $5 million. Ironically, look who retired that same year. There's no and I've held this personally. That this thing Arteta. This is all. This is my homeboy. This is who I played with. I'm gonna take care of Granit Xhaka. That's another discussion though. But I just wanted y'all to see this where we sit. All this talk about Champions League. We're gonna bring in the best players. Well, look right here. This is right here. Look right here. And you have, like you said, like you stated earlier, who has the faith that this board is going to behave the way it needs to? All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be really fun. This is going to be fun. This is going to be something new. If you want to hop in on the chat, the link is in the chat. I pinned it to the top. You're more than welcome to come up. Kyle, I've got something special for you, Tony and Monty. I put this together. I set up last night and worked on this. I hadn't got a title segment yet for it, but I'm going to say it for right now. It's called PR Spin, where we go through the annals of YouTube and across the interwebs and find the spin that is being spun on Arsenal Football Club. So I'm going to play some audio from a couple of different spots. You'll know the voices, but we're going to play with this one first because I think this one is probably going to trigger y'all the best. And then Kyle, I'm gonna turn you loose because I know you. I know you. So here we go.
When the games are, because they win, and then you've got to win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They win. They always seem to play before you. It's just constant pressure, and it just gets to you.
It does. And people use the bottle term, which to me is a nonsense, because if you're saying that Arsenal bottled it, it means that you thought Arsenal were going to win it, which to me means that you didn't really know what this team was about. You didn't really understand the sort of mechanics underneath the bonnet of this team. Yes, on the surface it looked great, but we were quite fortunate with injuries in the first few months of the season. Apart from the loss of Jesus, there was nothing else really significant. Zinchenko had missed a few weeks here and there. Odegaard missed one game at Brentford. Tomiyasu was in and out a little bit, but generally speaking, the health of the side was really good. But if you knew what was... It's like when you go and buy a car, you go and buy a second-hand car. If you don't know what you're looking at, how do you know what you're buying? You open the bonnet, but you don't know what you're looking at. And people that thought that Arsenal were going to cruise to the Premier League title, in my opinion, did not understand where this team were actually at.
Kyle. This is the narrative. This is the narrative that's being spun. The last 2 weeks. Like I said, I've got some good stuff here, y'all, that we're gonna dissect here, because we have to look at this. People are trying to dress up this, and Tony, you were dealing with it on your show the other day. People are trying to dress up second place as success when they're bypassing the fact that we were in first place for 248 days, and now we finished second. And so now that we finished second, we qualify for Champions League. Well, now it goes back to where if it's the beginning of the season, you would have taken Champions League. It's not in context. Kyle, let it go, brother. Let it go, brother.
Matt, first of all, big up to you. And big up to Tony and Manny, legends, and all the legends in the chat. Secondly, I'm going to say this, Matt. Because the time of the day, I don't know what kind of viewers is looking, so I'm not even going to curse. I'm going to try not to curse here. But I'm going to say a few facts. This is a typical example of why Arsenal Football Club has failed and failed for the last 20 years. Apart from a bit of success with the FA Cup. We're a laughing stock of a club. We're an embarrassment. This man has the audacity to come out and say that we don't know the club because of what happened. That we should be looking under the bonnet of the mechanics of this team. And anyone to thought we're going to win the league, we were wrong. God knows for you, my friend. You're wrong. And all belonging to you is wrong. AFTV is completely wrong in this club. And they're making a fortune. All they're interested in is their bank accounts. And they're all paid actors to sign that channel. Don Robbie, as they call him. Let me give you all an insight into Don Robbie. Arsenal played Chelsea in the Aviva Stadium here in Dublin in a pre-season game a few years back. Ozil was playing. I came out of the stadium and I got an interview with Don Robbie. And I told Don Robbie what Arsenal Football Club was back then, what it still is today, and I told him what I thought of Mr. Ozil, the worst signing in Arsenal football history. And I had an argument with him. Where was my interview? Nowhere to be aired. I wonder why. Because I went against the grain. That's why. So these lads has Arsenal Football Club where it is. Because they accept mediocrity, excuse after excuse after excuse. Let me get facts straight. Arsenal Football Club, they wouldn't win the Western League. Because we don't have the players to win it, and we don't have the management to win it, and we don't have the ownership to win it. A crowd of clueless idiots is running the show over there. As sooner the better we realise that and start getting rid of them one by one, the better off this club is going to be. Because until then, we will not win the league title for another 10 years. I hope you are all happy with that. It's embarrassing. 30 years ago, Matt, we won the the Cup Winners' Cup against Parma. I watched it. I remember watching it. That's 30 years ago. 20 years ago since we last won a league title. That's 50-year span. For Arsenal Football Club, it's embarrassing. I'm missing the transfers. We're going to get this fella. We're going to get that fella. We get no one. We got a dog in and we called him Wayne. What do you mean we called a dog? What have we won? We have players coming out. Top 4 was the objective. Well, you know what I said to those players? Get out of my club. Loser mentality. Out. Odegaard, captain of this club. That tells you everything you need to know about this club. It's an embarrassment on the ex-captains that was at this club. The whole thing is a joke. People need to wake up. AFTV is huge in the problems that we have here. And idiots that's following them. Having a clue. And they don't want what's best for our club. They want what's best for their bank accounts. If you want to hear reality and facts about Arsenal Football Club, you come and you watch the likes of Southern Gunner, Manny, Tony, Warren, me, Del Boy, Jays, and all the rest of the legends, because we're telling facts. I am hurting, and I'm hurting bad, because this is not the club that I've supported for the last 38 years. I can guarantee you that. And they're dropping this much. And what will the fans do? They'll be all outside the armory again today. Buying us in droves. With the gold strips, representing what we did 20 years ago. It's embarrassing to give the jersey to these crowd of idiots. Failures. What we done 20 years ago. Champions. Legends. And now we're giving the jersey to representing what we done to these idiots. The worst turnaround in football history. It's embarrassing. We're a joke.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. The Invincibles in 20 years. Yeah, 20 years later. The Pilots. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead, Tony. Warren. Hold on before you go, Tony. Warren, welcome, my friend. A legend is in the building. Another legend is in the building. We'll get to you in just a second, Warren. I got something for you too. Tony, take it away, bro.
See, yeah, that Kyle. See, man, the energy. See, guys in the chat. He said it all. He said it all. He said it all. In the club, in the football club we're in, yeah. Even forget the standards, yeah. Just forget the standards, yeah. The way we bottled the league this season, it really hurt me. Like it's like a part of my soul just went away with with City winning that league. 11 points, yeah. 248 days on top of this league, and somehow we'll find a way to just destroy everything we built this season. Absolutely horrible. And then, yeah, right now, every other club, yeah, that has even won things. Look at FC Barcelona. They just won the La Liga. They're pushing out legends out of the football club, and they're going into the transfer window to get in players. Yeah, they're ready. They're ready. But ours, we just gave out and dished out the biggest bottle job in Premiership history. And the next thing I'm hearing is that we're going for a certain 17-year-old in Brazil and going for some guy in Galatasaray in the papers this morning. And this is my problem. I don't trust this board enough. Of course, there'll be a caveat down there because I saw what our big friend and legend here, Warren, said in the chart about the Cronkies. Well, at the end of the day, the Cronkies have put up about £1 billion in 7 seasons. Yeah, they've given this manager, they've backed this manager with £500 million as it came to this football club. I'm sorry, I predicted that if Mikel Arteta doesn't win this title this season, I'm coming for his head, and rightfully so. I'm coming for his head right now. I need that guy replaced. I'm sorry, I need him replaced. I won't be able to push for it, but I need him replaced. I need that guy replaced. I need us to go into the transfer window, because if we go to the Champions League like this, I'm sorry, we're going to be beaten by PSG and the likes of them. 9-0. Guys in the chat here, think of every horrible score line you can ever think in your head. If you can think it, if you can imagine it, just think about it. That's what's going to happen to our football club next season. If it comes to the caveat, if we don't do our transfer dealings in the summer transfer window this summer in a very, very effective manner. And I'm sorry, I don't really trust Edu handling. Edu and Arteta, yeah, because I protected that guy too much. Edu, Arteta, and the board. If these guys, I don't trust these guys with £200 million. How about that? Because next season, yeah, I want to win the Mickey Mouse Cup. I want to go for that Carabao Cup. I want to win the FA Cup. I want to go for the title. God damn it, I want to go to a Champions League semi-final. And you know what? Yeah, with this current crop of guys there right now, boys, not even men, boys out there, disgracing our football club when they go there to play. I'm sorry, man. I don't think we can do it. We can't do it. So all the fans down here, yeah, we need to, me and Brother Matt will be doing some summer transfer. See, you need to spread it everywhere, because these guys need to be accountable. They need to be accountable for this. This summer, I want to see signings. I want to see Declan Rice in the football club. I want to see Caicedo in the football club. I don't want to see Godwin. I don't want to see Mason Mount. I'm tired of Arsenal at the back end of horrible deals, yeah, with all these Chelsea pensioners, even Manchester City pensioners. I'm beginning to get wary about it, yeah. Of course, Gabriel Jesus is a different animal. I understand this, but what has he brought to the football club? And when Manny was saying this at the start of the season, I had legendary, arguments with him at the start of the season. But I'm sorry, now I can see it's all a shambles, and Arsenal have the most. See, we have a PR spin that's bigger than any of these teams combined, yeah, every season. And I'm tired of it. We need to get players in, because we have the bigger fish to fry in the Champions League. I need those goddamn titles next season. Yeah, we gotta go into the transfer window and get these guys in.
Kyle, and then Monty, I'm gonna come to you, and then Warren, I've got some audio I want you to hear. Go ahead, Kyle.
I just want to say one thing, Matt. I'm going to give you all something here now. Every one of you. This is the Arsenal fan base in a nutshell for you. You see the legend there underneath me, Warren. Warren is rightfully going against the ownership of this club. And that man wrote out a great petition to put out for the fan base to sign, to start making the right moves in this club to get our club back to where it should be. How many people have signed that petition? 6. 6 people. It's an absolute disgrace. Our fan base should be ashamed of themselves. And they're down there buying the jersey today and they're kissing the crest. I won't kiss that crest. You know why? Because that crest ain't no crest for my club. That's why. It's an embarrassment.
All right, Monty, you've heard you've heard some fire come from the pits. So you go ahead and
from the pit.
From the pit. Go ahead, brother.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really more than I can add, and I want to make sure that Warren comes on and says what he has to say.
I've got something special for Warren. I've got something special here for Warren. So
some special swords for our brother Warren.
Oh yeah, we got some seasoning for fish over here.
He's gonna fry the bigger fish, the bigger fish.
You know,
with all them seasonings and all them frying pine oil.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro, Warren, you're welcome, my brother.
Go ahead, buddy.
And you know what? This is just some double talk in excelsis. I mean, they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. These were probably the same people who were telling us to believe that this year is going to be our year. And then they have the nerve to come and say, we shouldn't have expected the team to win the league. You don't know our team. So are you just admitting that we're a bunch of bottlers? Are you just admitting that we are not capable of this? And then you can't even try to spin it around saying it's just the beginning. There's no sense of self-reflection. There's no sense of humility. There's no sense of shame. It's disgusting. It really is. And all these people are now being shown for what they are. The only problem is the loudest voices are those who are willing to put up with this nonsense. And the problem, I think, it was someone who said that silence in the face of injustice will allow injustice to win. The problem is those who are trying to stand against injustice or against whatever is wrong are being silenced. We're not being given big enough platforms. So we have to try to make our own platforms like Lee Gunner has done. And yet, and I think it's been mentioned over here, a petition to try to, save the club has only had 6 people signing it. But I will, make myself a guilty party and say that I have not yet signed that petition. I will get around to it. But there is, of course, a good no time like the present. And especially now with the season ending, we have to demand some form of change. But, as long as those with the biggest mouths and those who are deep in it, who have their own vested interests, will have the biggest say, this is going to continue. And all I can say is that among the morass of ex-Arsenal players who've been only too happy to support this supposed process, thank God for our eternal captain, Tony Adams, who called it as it is on Sky Sports and said, you know what? We should have done better. A real person, a real Arsenal man. The others, I don't know what they've done. I don't know why they've done it, but they've sold their souls. And when you sell your soul, as Dr. Faust found out, we all know the consequences.
Yep. So Warren, I've got some audio here, and then I'm gonna let you circle back. I'll have a word on it. We're gonna circle it back. Let me make sure I got the right one here. All right, here we go.
It's been a it's been a good season, but it's not been a successful season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that very, very horribly, it's no shame to come second to Man City in any time.
But they deserve, I think.
They do, but they did fail at the end of the day.
They did fail at the end of the day, right? But I think they deserve...
Yes, they do.
A massive salute, right? Not a winning salute, obviously. We haven't won anything. But I think they deserve... Listen, at the start of the season, right, you would have been more than happy to have got top 4, wouldn't you?
Yeah, listen, yes, more than
would you have said at the start of the season that you probably take a top 4 finish over maybe winning the FA Cup and
the
League Cup?
No. Look, listen.
I would.
So what you prefer to get top 4 than
this season?
I'll always have trophy before
this season. I would have taken a top 4 finish over winning the FA Cup or winning the League Cup. The reason being is that we've not been in the Champions League for so long.
Yeah, but it's not doing what Spurs are and getting knocked out.
No, but hold on. Last season we got close to it. And I look on it and I say, for the progression of this side, to enable us to get better players. That's why I wanted it so badly last year as well. I'm like, it's a game changer for Arsenal, right?
So let me get this straight. This explains why when you see fans saying bigger fish to fry, we have invalidated one of the most historical cups in English football to just get into a competition. You didn't hear anything say, hey, I want to get into it and win it. I want to get into it and bring in quality players to win it. We're going to attract players. Attracting players is no good if you're not winning the damn thing. We were in it for 20 years and made it to one freaking final. One. And the manager mismanaged that one. One. I'm telling y'all, we have got to this summer roots out the cancer, as Jez would say. It has to be rooted out. The standards have been lowered so low. Listen, we are throwing away cups. It's like Tony said when we kicked off the show today. I expect us to be putting out a strengthened team for the Mickey Mouse Cup this year. There are no cups off the table this year. Everything is on the table. I know some people don't rate the Charity Shield. I want all 4 of them this year. I want the Charity Shield. I want the Mickey Mouse Cup. I want the FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League, the Audi Cup in the summer, whatever you have, the Coca-Cola Cup, the M&M Cup, whatever it is that's silverware. I want all of it. I'm tired of being the laughing stock. I was playing football with some of my older buddies last week. I was the laughing stock out there last Saturday. I had to deal with it because everybody each week, oh man, look like, early in the season, it looks like y'all going to do pretty good, man. Get to the end of the year. Oh, that's typical Arsenal. And then you look at typical fans, discount cups, discounting success. We have got to, Warren, raise the standards, buddy. I am turning it over to you. It's all yours, brother.
Right. First of all, you made a very, very good point, and I want to pick up on it. about no mention of winning, just going into it, getting into it, and going and throwing away the chance to win trophies just to enter a competition, right? Now, I remember years and years ago when George Graham was managing this club, English clubs got banned from Europe, and rightly so, because of the behaviour of the club's supporters, right? And at the time, there was because of that, and because it was the 100th year birthday of the Football League, they had a special tournament the following season to celebrate the 100 years of the Football League. Okay, what they did, all the top teams in the first division, which was tier 1 of English football at the time, they played a knockout competition. And I remember George Graham got questioned about it after Arsenal won this tournament. Okay, we won this tournament. We beat Manchester United 2-1 in the final. And George Graham got questioned about it and saying, well, you know, why did you place so much importance on it? And he said, listen, if you're going to go into a tournament, win it. Right? And I 100% agree with him. I never, ever heard George talking about finishing second or finishing third or finishing fourth as being acceptable. If we didn't win, it was a failure. And George demanded success from his players. He would also, if players went out onto the field and they had an exceptional performance, he would expect that level of performance week in, week out, no excuses, right? Now, the thing is now, as you quite rightly said, Matt, this club has had its standards lowered so badly and so far down that we have a fan base that's been brainwashed into accepting this nonsense year in, year out. And I can guarantee you this: if next season this club is in a title challenge again, and we're still in the Champions League, still in the League Cup and FA Cup, something like that, I can guarantee you that Mikel Arteta will decide to throw those tournaments away in pursuit of trying to win the Premier League. I can guarantee it. And I can guarantee you as well, he'll throw away the Champions League in order to try and win the Premier League. And I just find it absolutely disgusting that this club has allowed this to continue. And there is, what else the thing I want to say? The thing is, to me, like Arsenal, this business that Carl mentioned about the shirt with the gold stripes on it, like to, remember the Invincible season. To me, it's like, what it reminds me of is a few years ago, there was this big movement in the UK. I don't know if it was like this in other parts of the world. There was this big movement of, what were they called? You'd go and you'd watch a tribute band, right? So you go and see this group of lads who were quite good at playing music on instruments and whatnot. And they would be like a tribute band from like famous rock bands from the 70s or something. You might get a band who was imitating Pink Floyd or Queen or something like that. And people will pay good money to go and watch it rather than go and see the original, right? And this is, for me, this whole thing about bringing out kits with like things that sort of resemble teams from our glorious past. It's just a distraction for what is going on at present so that people get distracted from what's going on currently. and to remind them of our glorious past. Yeah, that's it. There, the 3 gold stripes. And I just find that really disturbing because it's showing that there is no desire to try and go and create new, new pieces of history, new things that that can cause excitement and celebration in the fan base. Just continually looking back to past times when we did have success, and not try and build new dynasties and success for the future. And I just find the whole thing absolutely disgraceful. And that is why I've decided to start a campaign. And anyone who wants to join me on this campaign, they're more than welcome, because I can't do it on my own. Right, we need to unite as a fan base to get these owners out, and the manager, Edu, Arteta, the whole lot of them need to go. But for me, at the moment, I'm concentrating on the Cronkies because I think they're a massive problem. It's not because they don't put the money on the table, because they do. The problem I've got is they've got no interest on a day-to-day basis with what is going on. And as a consequence, these people like Edu and Arteta and Vinay and all the rest of them, they're allowed to just run amok and do what they like, and no one is holding them to account for what they're doing because the fans aren't doing it, except for a very small bunch of us sitting on YouTube channels and whatnot. But we need to put pressure on them. And I've got a video sitting there waiting to go, and I've got some which explains about one thing that we can do to put pressure on them. And because if it works and enough of us do it, it will cause them a big problem. But I've got lots of other ideas, and I want people to join me and bring their own ideas and whatnot, because these owners are a massive problem. And Matt, you described it perfectly earlier when you called it a cancer, because it is a cancer. The fans, these brainwashed fans who keep backing this manager of ours and Edu and all the rest of them, they're a cancer as well, and calling themselves positive. Well, I'm sorry, how is it positive to continually back something that's not working, it's not delivering, and all it's doing is continually sending the club backwards? It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable to me. I've been supporting this club since 1972, and I've never seen anything like this before in all the time I've been following Arsenal. I've never seen like such a big group of people that just seem absolutely clueless as regards to what is acceptable for this football club. It's just, honestly, I get really angry and upset by it. And then when I do get angry and upset, like I'm beginning to get now, I start to have trouble to communicate effectively and coherently about what I'm trying to say, because I've got all these things going around in my head about what I want to say, and I have difficulty getting it out coherently because I'm just so upset by it. I just can't believe that this is going on at this football club, because I do not believe that any other club of this size and stature anywhere in world football would put up with this. I just don't believe it would happen. I can't believe that, Real Madrid fans would put up with it, or that, or if you were a Boca Junior fan, Jesus, Boca Junior or River Plate or like any of the massive traditional clubs in the world, their fans would just not accept it. But ours, because they've been brainwashed, then they're just willing to accept it. And this is why I'm targeting the Cronkies. I've said it a few weeks now in different chats. I put comments in saying it's time to cut the head off the snake. And this is what I'm talking about, cutting the head off the snake. Because if we get them out, then the whole rest of it will fall apart. The new owner, if we get a proper owner in who's demands success and is at the club on a regular basis, demanding to know what's going on, then things will change. These people like Edu, they'll be out of a job. Arteta will be out of a job because we need people in positions of power that know what they're doing. For example, bringing David O'Leary, who understands the culture of the club, and people like that, because this cannot be allowed to continue. Because the only way the club is going all the time that these people are in positions of power is down. And that is it. Matt, I'm going to stop because I'm going on too long and I'm starting to get really angry.
You know, Arsenal make you angry, man. When you look at stuff like this right here, Tony, when you look,
they'll make you angry. But I just want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead,
because Warren, you actually said it. You know, in the charts. Yeah. See, there's a lot of human factors, technological factors. You know, that comes into play when we're talking about the fan base and accepting that the Kroenkes are at fault. And mind you, Arsenal Football Club is plagued with a certain culture of this PR spin. Yeah, it's a big problem that people have not really come to really understand how deeply rooted this PR spin is. It's deeply rooted. It's like a covert operation. Yeah. See, I'll just put something out there. The Kroenkes, 7 seasons. I've said it before. In 7 seasons, these guys have dropped about £1 billion pounds. It's quite different, from that typical Wenger era where they say, hey, you didn't have £10 million to spend. You know, at this time, this current manager, they've backed this manager with nearly £500 million. These guys are that good in spinning this PR, They will tell you, see, you know what? They will come out in the media, and say, see, we spent money. We've spent money. What else do you want? And they've perfected the act of deflection, So you won't even say it's them at the end of the day. These new fans, they're all good with technology. They listen to this. They don't come to listen to me and you, definitely. You know, they prefer to listen to AFTV. They prefer to listen to, maybe I have nothing against AFTV. They're running a business and it's good for them. It's okay. I have no problem with that, but it's a business. So, and when you're running this type of, businesses here and there, and journalists having, brown envelopes here and there, and there's this perfect PR spin, you can't win, because the next thing, the Kroenkes will come and say, hey, we're at par with the spending with what other people are spending in the field. We spent £1 billion, 500. That's big money, So, and they've created this act of deflection that we fans have to talk about. Edu now in the case. We now have to talk about Mikel Arteta in the case. Slowly, no one. They've been able to perfect the act of deflection. They've deflected everything. So if you want someone to be the hangman, if you want someone to be the sacrificial lamb, you just go straight right to Mikel Arteta. You just go straight to Mr. Edu, because those are the ones you can point and kill. But the bigger picture is that the owners have spent money in this football club, and good luck convincing this fan base, to go against the Kroenkes, mostly with the PR spin going on out there about how much they've spent, how much they've actually invested into the football club, it becomes a Herculean task to actually pull this off. Warren.
Kyle, Kyle, and I'm gonna come back to you, Kyle, and then I'm gonna play some audio, and then I'm gonna come back to you, Warren, and then we'll go to money. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, just gotta say something there. I totally agree with Tony, everything he's saying there today, but there's one thing I disagree with, and that's AFTV and their so-called business, because that business is destroying our club with their PR bullshit that comes out of their mouths on a daily basis. Secondly, I'm looking there at them clips that you're putting up there, Matt. I'm looking at jerseys being sold by Trossard wore a jersey, £1,390 sterling. Is the club, what is going on here?
It's laughable.
What
man.
has he won? What has he achieved? 1,300. I wouldn't take it for free. This is what I'm talking about. The club is a joke. Looking at the next thing to be doing is selling Xhaka jerseys and Adrian Ketia jerseys.
No, you know they're selling that tomorrow. You know that's gonna be that's about 3,500 there, man. You know that's gonna be big shit tomorrow.
My God, what is this club coming to? It's a joke. The next thing to be selling dog collars next.
Oh yeah, it's coming too.
What's going on with the club?
Yeah, you gonna have food.
And again, the standards have died. A football club that gives the legendary number 14 shirt to Eddie Nketiah, yeah, and no one is carrying it. They sold it to you.
Tony, you said it. You called his name. You called his name. Yeah? You called his name. No. You called
them. It's difficult. They sold Eddie Nketiah number 14. It belongs to club legend Thierry Henry. He's wearing it right now. See, it's a disgrace, but there's nothing you can do. Why? Because there's a big PR machine. They're backed. Not on our YouTube. How many followers do we have on our YouTube system to have this big fight? You have to go with lots of resources. You have to go with lots of people, and people might not be so trustable at the end of the day. Like Warren said, only 6 people have signed that document. There's a reason why. There's a big PR machine that's out there that's spinning this web of lies that will tell you that it's good that we gave Eddie Nketiah the number 14 shirt. And there's nothing, Warren, there's nothing you can do about that. How about that? That's how big this monster is.
You call his name, so every time I hear his name. All right, so that there you go. Every time I hear Nketiah's name called and $100,000 and 14, that gets played every time.
It's bigger than us. It's a deep state. It's bigger.
Yep. Money, hold tight. I see you, Money. Just hold tight. I see you going to shaking from left to right. Just hold tight.
No. I mean, I was reacting to the song. I mean, take your time. I'm prepared to wait and bide my time. Let everyone else have their time.
He's enjoying the song.
I'm enjoying it, Tony. That was ridiculous.
Deep into it.
Yeah, but you know what, Tony brings this point up, and like you said, the soul. Let's just call it for what it is. The soul of the football club. The soul as we know it. The soul. There was a time you would not even think to put Bergkamp 10 or Thierry 14, Vieira, these numbers, these sacred numbers, Tony Adams number, Charlie Jordan, these powerhouses of Arsenal Football Club. And we just give them away like it ain't nothing. Just give them away. Just give them away. All this big talk.
The PR spin following
it's spin,
It's not just in the giving. The PR spin that follows that giving of that number to Eddie Nketiah, that's what really matters. That's what captured these guys. And that's why no one is fighting about it. No one will talk about. See, that guy can be with that shirt for the next 10 seasons. Nothing would happen because of that spin that has been spun. Yeah, it's powerful. It's powerful. There's nothing we can do about it.
All right, Warren, it's you, brother.
Yeah, I just wanted to say 2 things. Right, first of all, I'm not sure this has happened since the Cronkies have been involved with Arsenal, or it started before. But there has been a concerted effort by this football club to subjugate the fan base and divide the fan base. Now, those of you who know your history will know that the British Empire went around the world and conquered 75% of the planet. And the way it was able to do that was by going into countries and dividing the population so they would fight amongst themselves so that they could easily conquer the country. And that's what they did. They did it all over the planet. And this is exactly what the Cronkies are doing now, right, with Arsenal fans. But the thing is, there's been a concerted effort to do this. Like, first of all, there was a badge. Their old badge got taken away from us. Right? Some people have said that it's because on the old badge there was a Latin logo, there was Latin text on it, which some fans around the world found they were offended by it, and it would make it difficult to sell the club overseas. My answer to that will be, well, what are they doing supporting the club? The club is about what goes on the pitch, not so much about the badge and the few little words. But that badge is iconic, and it represents what this club was about, right? They took that away from us. Next thing you know, they're taking Highbury away from us and putting us into this soulless bowl just a little while down the road. And it's just a continual chipping away, reducing the standards until we get to a situation where we got a fan base who were demanding the sacking of one manager in Arsene Wenger because all we could do was finish in the top four, now dancing on tables in the local government town hall because they think we're going to get into that echelon of top four. I'm sorry, I just find it absolutely disgusting. And the other thing as well, you know, I've had this argument with people about, oh, there's no point trying to get the Cronkies out because you'll never do it. They're not going anywhere. Well, I'll tell you something for sure. If we don't try, then they definitely ain't going anywhere. And I'd rather, like, whenever I die between now and 20, 30 years down the track, I'd rather do that knowing that I tried and failed than not try at all. And this is why I'm doing, because we have to fight. And there's been numerous clubs down the years who've campaigned and fought to get their owners out of their clubs, and they've been able to do it. So there's no reason why we can't do it. Yes, I understand that the PR and the marketing of this club is on point and it's powerful, but so are we as a fan base. We need to remember they need us, and we are powerful.
Fact.
And we can, if we want to, we could get them out. But we need to unite, and that is going to be the difficult thing. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy and it's going to happen overnight, but we have to try. Otherwise, we might as well just roll over and let them tickle our tummies.
You see, the thing that Warren said there, Matt, listen, I'll tell you something. If anyone has anything to say about the badge that we once had, it will come from my country, when you think about the history between England and Ireland. But I don't give a fuck about any of that. What I care about is the badge that was on that jersey that I wore as a child growing up, and wore it with pride. And any time I went over to Highbury to watch us playing, I would walk around, be chased up like Cantona back in the day. Chased up, collars up, wearing the jersey with pride, walking through the airport, walking down the street, going into Highbury, smelling the atmosphere, standing up on the North Bank. I used to be in the east side as well, and I used to be down at the clock game. And looking at all the great players, Thierry Henry going up and down the wing. Looking at Robert Perez, one of my all-time favourites. My favourite player ever, Dennis Bergkamp. All those great players representing the badge, David Rocastle. All the Tony Adams. And they took the badge away, they spat on the badge, walked it into the ground. It's an absolute embarrassment. That's Arsenal Football Club. Then we knock Highbury down and we go to this, as I would call, dump. Because that's what it is. Compared to Highbury. Let's get things straight here. This season is actually the first season since we went to the Emirates that there was a bit of an atmosphere. Because, listen, Matt, I've been in the Emirates.
They used to call it the library.
And I saw 3,000 away fans making more noise than what 50-odd thousand Arsenal fans will make. It was embarrassing. This club is a joke. Everything about it. I hate the way my club has gone. Hate it.
Yeah. Monty, I got something for you, brother. We're coming to you.
Yep, I'm ready.
And yeah, Kyle, I remember when Emirates opened, probably like the third or fourth year we were open, I started seeing people in fan chat on message boards back then. They called it library. They said we're going to play Arsenal at the library, and that's what they referred to Emirates as. You know. All right, so this is for you, Monty. I'm gonna play this, and I'm just enjoying watching people's reactions when y'all hear this stuff. It's gold. Here you go, Monty.
Summer transfer window, you use the phrase that you have to nail it.
Yeah.
Is that because the City standards are so high now that nobody can afford any kind of mistake?
Well, because we have to nail everything that we do, and we have to seek for excellence in everything that we touch and we participated. That's going to have a big impact at the club, and obviously, I think the competition is going to be even harder this season. That, in my opinion, has been the hardest in the 22 years that I've been in this league. And in order to do that, we have a really promising plan. We may have to reflect a little bit, take a step back, make sure that this is the right one, and go again with more determination and hunger in the tummies to do even better.
Okay, Monty, that's yours, my friend. Take it away.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Does this fella even believe half the rubbish he spouts? And the same person again who thought it would be a good idea to bring a dog to the team to boost morale. I think I told you, Matt, that I studied in the US. And at university, I think a lot of the undergrads, obviously they were quite young, and several of them were would be going through a few issues. So when you bring some dogs to for a petting exercise, that is supposed to be something as a means of trying to improve your mental health, improve your psychological outlook, and just it is sort of therapeutic, but. A dog for a team of footballers who were supposed to be quite mature. I get that some of them may be very, very young indeed, but most of them are quite old. Most of them probably even have pets at their home. For crying out loud. I mean, the worst part is, in this particular speech, I do seem to remember one particular incident where he said that he had to take some responsibility for what happened because tactically he wasn't quite good enough. But apart from that, it's again more and more deflection. It's again more and more, PR spin. And the worst part is that when the manager is in on it, it can't be good. Bayern have just won the Bundesliga, and yet they've sacked their legendary goalkeeper, Oliver Kahn, as CEO because of the way the season's gone. And I think those people are self-reflective enough to know that in as much as they've won an 11th consecutive Bundesliga, the fact that they've won it by the skin of their teeth is perfect proof that, the way the season's gone with Nagelsmann being sacked in the middle and the team under Tuchel having a poor run of results, it hasn't really been good. So at least they can look back and say, yeah, they've achieved some success, but they know that changes have to be made. We're not going to see any of that. And Tuchel also has to count himself quite lucky because, mind you, if results had not gone the way they had gone today, there was a chance that he could have been sacked. But next season, if Bayern do go on a poor run, they're going to get rid of him as well. Everyone's in on it, Matt. The manager, the board, the journalists, everyone at AFTV, everyone's in on it. Everyone wants a piece of it. It reminds me of a line from that classic song Hotel California. I don't know if this necessarily does it justice, but I think in the last verse it talks about how there are mirrors on the ceiling, pink champagne on ice, and then you're basically a prisoner here of your own device. And then in the master's chambers, they're gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they can't kill the beast. And then we all know what happens. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. I think that song was, in a way, sort of highlight the dysfunctionality of a certain environment at the time. You could definitely say that dysfunctionality is what describes Arsenal right now. And, as long as people like Warren, Kyle, Del Boy, Lee Gunner, yourself, and several others are going to be silenced and not have an opportunity to speak, it's going to continue. So we need to make ourselves louder. Kyle, do wish your mum a very happy birthday for me. And I'm just going to stop speaking so that he can shout himself out.
Yeah.
Kyle.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Absolutely. Big up to you all, man. And thanks very much. I'll be telling her, I tell her at dinner time that she got birthday wishes from you all. And she's 66 today. So I promised her 6 o'clock Irish time I was going to bring her for a nice meal, chill out, relax. And the other thing is my mom is Black African. So she was the first coloured woman where I live here in Ireland in 1958. And she went from, her parents left her on a church doorstep and disappeared. So she spent her life searching for her parents. She found her father back in Africa in 1995. It's an amazing story. Then she found her mother 5 weeks ago. And her mother, unfortunately, has passed to the other world. So she never got to meet her. But the good news that came out of all that is that she actually found her sister that she hasn't seen in 66 years. Funny. And her sister, I have arranged for her sister. So her sister, my aunt, is meeting me and my mom tonight at dinner for the first time, and she has no idea about it. So
you got to put those pictures
up. Top man. I love it.
It's going to be a good one.
Outstanding, man. Yeah. Tell mom we say happy birthday, man. Enjoy yourself.
Happy birthday to Kyle's mom. Happy
absolutely.
Birthday.
Yeah.
Big up to you, son.
I'm sure she has a good time, Carl.
Sure he will. And listen, big up to Mas for having me on the show. Mas, top man. Tony, top man. Manny, you know what I feel about you, my friend. Warren, legend of all legends. Lads, big up to you all. Big up to the chat.
Tomorrow.
I'll catch you all.
Take care, Kyle.
All right, brother.
Thanks, lads.
See you later, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, lads.
Yep.
Cheers, Kyle. Take care, mate.
Monty, as you were talking, I wanted to pull up. This is a recovery. This is the first stage to help with recovery. As somebody who majored in human services and social work, the beginning phase is to acknowledge you have a problem. That's what Arsenal has to do. We have to acknowledge there's a problem to aid in recovery. Right now, we're in a stage of denial. We have fans who are denying what is right is wrong and what is wrong is not right. That we are out of order. The acknowledge to acceptance. You have to acknowledge it and accept that we were 248 days at the top. Tony, this is what we talked last week. This is what we talked about. 248 days at the top. Yeah, not second place. We're going to put second place over here. We're going to talk about 248 days at the top, and we finished in second. Why did we finish in second? Then you enter into recovery. What is the problem? How do we fix it? Ward has laid it out. You start with the Crockies. Tony has acknowledged, well, the Crockies have given him $500 million. So who is spending the money on what and why? Why is the money we're being spent on not yielding results that we need? Then from there, you go to working the steps. You go to, hey, let's look at this manager, let's look at the ownership, and let's look at everybody. I call them the three stooges. Let's look at all three of them. Mo, Larry, Curly, and you can throw Shrimp in there as well. All of them need to be looked at because they all tie together. It's a hydra, as somebody put in the chat. It's a hydra. It's a four-headed beast. And we have got to start attacking this thing starting this season. We cannot. Tomorrow, I think it was Tony, you brought it up earlier. Tomorrow's game is, you cannot let it be covered up with festivities and parade and ticker tapes and a lap around the stadium. And you get people coming on hugs and all this stuff. And Xhaka was a great servant. That's what they say. Servant of the club. You cannot do it. Money, you hit it right there on the head, man. That the beast, you're in the room and you're consumed. You don't even know you're consumed. And that is what a lot of this fan base is. A lot of this fan base, I've talked to several people. They've never seen it. They've never seen us win a title. They've never seen it. They don't know. They don't know what it was like to watch a team. See, this is why I have to tell people. Back in the day, when Arsenal, we were struggling, y'all remember those legendary Manchester United battles? Y'all remember? Well, it was a couple points here. You missed the title by a couple points, so in and out. But we always could look at the team. We could always look at the team and know that we're going to be competing for something in years to come. No matter what happened at the end of the season, we knew we were going to be competing. When I look at this team, I'm concerned about 7th, 8th, and even 9th place because of where we are as a club. And that's the dangerous thing. That's what people don't want to take a look at. People, they don't want to see the truth. This season, you look at that table. Oh, well, man, we were 20 points clear. Everybody else, we were leading. No, everybody else did not have their priorities in order. The priorities are going to be in order. All of this talk. Now, I want y'all to look at this. I'm going to bring you. I'm for the, as Tony said, I'm for the cook. I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something. They tell me that you cannot sign world-class players if you're not in the Champions League. I want you to go look at Brighton. I want you to look at Liverpool. And I want you to watch Liverpool. I want y'all to put a Warren on that piece of paper right there by you. I want you to write down Liverpool and put a column over there that say transfers. And you watch what Liverpool bring in. This shit with no Champions League football. Because, Tony, they told us for the last 2 or 3 years, we got to get the Champions League to get world-class players. But I guarantee you, Liverpool will bring in 2 world-class players to rectify this thing that they've done. They will rectify. Chelsea will go out. I don't care how much money they spend. They're still going to get the world-class players.
They're going for Caicedo. They're going for Caicedo right now as we speak. They're talking about Caicedo.
We put a bid in for him. Me and you sat there at length and we talked about when Arsenal went to that table with $60 million and they asked for 90. They showed up with 60. The haggling, as you say, haggling. And then we go to the table and then we get turned away. This is why I said this season, the transfer window, the behavior of this club. I don't know if Gary's in the chat. I'm not coming to watch Arsenal this year until we have 2 to 4 world-class players in this team. I'm not going up there to watch it. I'm sorry. I love you to death, but I'm not doing it.
Matt, we're also forgetting the bigger picture in this. It's not all about the bringing of players into the football club. It's how many you are able to offload. Someone called Nuno Tavares. Instead of getting money from that guy this season, Arsenal will have to pay £1 million for that guy in Marseille. I'm serious. We have to pay £1 million. Go check the report. So, we need to get players out to clear the books. Yeah? Who are those knuckleheads down there who are actually dealing with player transfers? Who are the ones dealing with this thing? We need players out. We need people like El Neni who hasn't kicked a football this season. This year, actually. He needs to be out of the club. You just talked about Cedric. He wants to come back. No. Does that ring a bell to you? Getting Bell. He wants to come back. He's not comfortable where he is in Fulham. Yeah, they make that place so uncomfortable for him. He's coming back to
good. This is what it should be like at Arsenal. We should not be having players feeling comfortable. This is why it's gone wrong.
And this is the big problem. These players are all causing a clog down there. Yeah, we can't offer the competitive wages for players because these guys are there. We're paying these players. Even the players are out on loan. We're paying these guys. They're not off the bill. It's a big problem for Arsenal Football Club. We can't even bring in the players we want to even bring in. So it starts from home. It's a home cleanup. Yeah, it's a home cleanup. You have to clean your mess from home. Clean it up. Get Rob Holding out of this football club. Rip that contract you gave to Rhys Nelson. Tear it away. Throw it away. Yeah, out of the football club. Yeah, all these part-time players, get them off. Sell them for any amount of money you can get. Recoup at least some money.
Say it again, Tony. Recoup.
Because we need to recoup some money. See, even Pepe, is at the risk of us not getting any nickel from that guy. Like, how comfortable are we? Yeah, with our record signing, we can't even get £10 million. No, just internalize that. We can't even get £10 million from the sale of Pepe. It's not possible. So we need to sell these players, get them off the wage bill, because somehow the kind of deal Arsenal signed with this football club that they're on loan is that we're paying part of the wages, and all these things are forming a clog in the and a congestion in the wages that we can be able to give to new players. So it's a big problem. Get these guys off. Bring in new players. Yeah, in-house cleanup. We need to clean the house.
Tony, what you said, Monty? We need an audit. We need a full-fledged audit, man, from top to bottom, man.
Exactly.
People, Brown.
Credit to Warren because he actually on one of his streams made it very clear that the club is in need of an audit, and I'm always happy to big him up every chance I get.
Yeah, shout out to Warren for that, man.
Shout out Warren, man.
I mean, you saw parts, and let's go back. Let's step. I'm really enjoying the show. I'm really enjoying it. It's a great conversation. Let's go back to what was the fella there that came from Dortmund that was over our football dealings there. What was his name? Mislintat.
Mislintat.
Yeah, he came in. He said, "I've got a dossier of players ready to go." Mind you, a lot of people forget Martinelli was on that dossier. That's how we ended up getting him. It wasn't necessarily Edu. It was Mislintat. It already scouted him, and they went and got him. Raul, what's his name? Was out here doing. Salinelli was out here. Oh, I got a list of players I want us to get. $72 million. Tony, I'm glad you brought it up. $72 million. Unai Emery said, I wanted Zaha. Zaha would have cost less, and you probably could have got somebody who would have ate the club up because he's an Arsenal fan through and through. We know this. This is fact. He said he wanted to come to Arsenal. We know this. Nope, you're gonna get the $72 million deal. When that happened, I knew that there was brown bag dealings going on. I knew it. You look at that track record, you look at his track record, and then you look at these players that have come from Brazil. Marquinhos, we paid him $3.5 million on a free transfer. As a kickback from Edu. Then you look at these deals. 35. I gotta say it. I say that. I'm saying it on every show I go on, but I'm gonna say it again. $35 million for Vieira. 35.
We need to be careful about what we say. There wasn't any kickback officially.
Alleged. Thank you, Tony. Alleged. Yeah.
The PR machine is in full force.
Yeah, I forgot. They tell
it reeks.
It smells. It reeks. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It reeks. It reeks. There's something fishy in the water, and I'm not talking about fish that needs to be fried. It's something fishy in the water. You can't fry that fish. Then you look at some of these deals like Lakonga. You just look at the deals. Look at the deal. Follow Warren, what I said last week. Follow the money. That over in America is a big saying. Follow the money. Just look at the money, and then you look at the transfer dealings. Why is it that we get, like Tony brought up earlier, we get hand-me-down? Why are all of a sudden now Warren, everybody on this panel has watched Arsenal for I'd say almost over 15 years. Now let's just go back. Let's just put ourselves back in the late 90s, early 2000s. How many times did you see Arsenal go out and buy other teams' hand-me-downs? What did y'all see that at? Where did y'all see that? How many times did we go to Manchester United and buy their hand-me-downs? Now we didn't. It was unheard of. Unheard of. You know, this didn't start until when we sold our RVP over there to Manchester United. Stupidity. And Manchester, we were selling players, our best players to Manchester City, funding this machine over here. Arsenal Football Club, this stuff with loans all of a sudden that we were doing. We didn't start this loan stuff until like 2013, 2014. Let's look at the behavior of the club over the last 10 years. It's just been going just like this, down, 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 down. And now we're getting these fringe players that we're propping up as they're proven ready to go. And as Tony has stated on several times, we've got players that are solid, ready to go, sitting out there to be bought. Chelsea's gonna go in for a bid. We sat right there and put in 2 bids. Declan Rice is probably gonna go somewhere else. And even if we did get him, that'd be the only thing we get for the summer. This team is skint. There's something stinking going on. I've told y'all before. I'm not monetized, so I'll say it. You cannot pee down my back and tell me it's raining outside. There's something not right at the club. There's something not right at the club. And it goes all the way down to the transfer dealings, all the way over here to game one jerseys, the dogs, and everything else. It is basically the classic example of throw a rock, hide your hand. That's exactly what this is. And I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. I've been on this, man. I've been kicked out of more Facebook groups for raising Cain about this club, because I have said for years that something was not right here. And why on earth can everybody else seem to get their business done? Or they get their business. You watch when it's tomorrow afternoon, when the last whistle is blown, about 2 hours later, you're going to hear about new players going to certain teams. They're going to have stuff signed, sealed, and delivered. Signed, sealed, and delivered. Now, Stephen Wonder, I think that is money. I think that's Stephen Wonder, if I'm correct. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yep.
And they're going to turn right around. They're going to look at Arsenal. And as Tony stated, we're already this morning. I was wondering if that was true, but Tony's already seen it. 17-year-old from Corinthians. Now tell me why are we even looking at a 17-year-old when we got academy players over there? Yeah, hype this academy. They hype up hell in boys. They hype them up. We don't need another 17-year-old. We need somebody with quality that scored 17 goals a season. That's what we need. We need somebody scoring 25 goals a season. We need a striker. We need a midfielder. We need somebody. Somebody said earlier, warriors in the team. We need warriors. I'm tired of it, y'all. I'm tired of it. This is me. I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. We got to do better. The standards got to be raised at this football club, man. The standards have got to be raised. And Tony, I sat there and listened to you last week, and the brother that was on there. And like I said earlier, y'all, before we got on, these other clubs, they act like Arsenal fans are crazy for folks like us are crazy for holding the club to standards. But we all know if the shoe was on the foot, could you imagine if Pep would have been up 248 days at the top and blow this title? You talk about war chest. You talk about war chest. They would have gave him $375 million and told him to fix it. If Chelsea. Look, when you watch Chelsea, what they're going to do this summer. Now, Bowley can spend all the money he wants, but see, there's a caveat now. There's a caveat with Chelsea now, and people not paying attention. Now you've got Pochettino over there who knows Tony, who knows. He has an idea of what's out there in Europe. He has an idea of what's over in France. He knows where you can go out and get a couple of quality players. And then you watch what happens. They're not going to just be spending $200 million on Mudryk and all that stupid stuff. They're going to be spending $200 million on players that can get them back in competition and over the line. Their objective, if you ask any Chelsea fans' objective, they're not going to come to you and tell you we want to win the Champions League. They're going to say we want to win everything. Everything.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't trust this board with 200 million. See, I don't trust Edu right now. I don't trust Arteta with 200 million. But see, just the same thing we're talking about Warren, yeah? We've not even closed shop this season, yeah? Just about 2 games to the end of the season. And the PR machine starts. Arsenal, war chest. 200 million pounds to be handed over. And right now, many Arsenal fans now think, even me and you right now are thinking, oh, there's 200 million pounds right now to spend. That's the power of this PR machine. We already have it in our heads, yeah, that we have 200 million. It's there. So you can't go above that evaluation in the transfer window. So right now we're thinking of how to accommodate all these things into a 200 million budget, even without the club coming out to tell us officially we have 200 million pounds to spend. It's a big problem. We're in a mess.
Warren, I'm gonna let Monty get ready to scoot out. I'm gonna let Monty say something. We're gonna start getting to wind it down. Monty, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing much more that I can say, except I'm really glad to have come on and had this discussion with all of you. And this is not just a therapy session, but really a serious discussion of what needs to be done. And if we had a lot more in terms of traction and publicity and more people would listen to us, it would be better. But again, we're the ones who will always be, ridiculed. However, history shows that those of us who, end up speaking the truth and trying to spread the good word, end up being maligned initially, but we end up being vindicated later on. That is the only consolation that I can take from this. And sooner or later, we will have our vindication. Matt, Mr. Odom, wonderful to come on. Thank you very much indeed. Love coming on. Big up to Kyle as well. Tony, wonderful to catch you again, brother. And I think Warren is just...
I was trying to get Warren on that before he scooted out, but I think he had to go roll. So
yeah, but always wonderful to be on the stream with Warren as well. And as I said, do subscribe to his channel, Warren's Team Talk. Catch his Soccer Sunday tomorrow, covering the last day of the Premier League. And as for me, in addition to the Southern Gooner, catch me on several other Arsenal fan channels on YouTube. I'm very much, I'm here, there, and everywhere. And nothing much else to say. To all of you in the chat who've contributed, thank you very much indeed. You're the ones who will make Matt's channel and this video what they are. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the football or soccer on offer. Don't do anything that us panelists wouldn't do. But for now, I am out. Cheers again, everyone.
Cheers,
Big
man.
up, Tony. Nice to see you.
All right. So, Tony, it is before we get ready to wrap it up. Let me say this. Make sure everybody heads over to Warren's Team Talk. Subscribe. Also, I think he left the link for the dog. I just drew a blank. What is it? The petition. The left it for the petition in the chat. Make sure that you all take a look at that. Up here he is. He's scooting back in. There he is. Warren is back in. Warren, you had your hand up.
Warren is back in. Never gives up. Yeah, is back in.
All right, go ahead, Warren. You wanted to chat.
No, I was just sorry about that. My internet went down. Basically, what I wanted to say is that this club, as far as I can see, for the last 15 or 20 years, is facing the same issues. It faced the same issues back then as what it's facing now, right? And there is a massive smokescreen at this club, which is obscuring the true extent of the issues that are going on at this club. Talks of war chests, dogs, Amazon documentaries, the PR and marketing around paid employees at the club. It's all a massive smokescreen. And I'm talking about the coaching and training of players, the treatment of injuries, the inability to do and get transfers over the line for like top class talent, right? And the big one for me, because it could save this club millions and millions and millions of pounds, is the development of youth players. How many players have come through from the youth team since Mikel Arteta has come here and become first team regulars? Because I can't think of one.
Yeah.
Emil Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka came through when Unai Emery was here. And I just find it absolutely shocking. And there is a massive smokescreen. And this is why all this talk, I can't get excited about talks of transfers and all this sort of carry on, because I know that this stuff I've just mentioned is far more important, because the informal structures that we need to be in place in order to make this club successful are not there. They're just not there. The club is in such a mess that we could go out and we could bring in the best player in every position in the world, and we still wouldn't compete.
Yeah.
Because we haven't got proper training of the players. The coaching is shocking. The treatment of injuries. We had Thomas Partey, probably the one of, if not the best defensive midfielder in the world, come into this club, never had an injury before he came here, and now he's at Arsenal. He can't stop getting injured.
Warren, we bought Vieira, and I know this is running long, y'all. It's been a fascinating chat today. Warren, Vieira showed up with a boot on. He showed up with a boot on when we got it.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. You know, that the whole thing is just an absolute shambles. You know, like, who sanctioned us paying, was it 35, 40 plus million pound for that lad? He looks like he's about 12 or something.
Look like he got called up from Coventry.
One of my best mates, he was my best man at my wedding, right? He used to play for Valencia Reserves. And how I met him was because I was working in this charity in London that helped people who were homeless to get work. He rocked up one day and I met him and he said, listen, I want to get work. And I sat down and had a chat with him and he told me about his football career. And I said, listen, I'm going to take you to go and watch a team that plays in the 4th tier of English football called Barnet. Okay, so I took him up to Barnet in North London and we watched this game. And the guy is about 5'10", 5'11". He's probably about 10 and a half, 11 stone. And he turned to me at the end of the game. He said, listen, he said, I need to go to the gym and do some serious work on weights. He said, because I will get absolutely destroyed by these fellas. Because the defenders, he was a striker. These fellas were like 6'4", 6'5". It's probably about just over 2 meters, probably a little bit more in height. And they were about over 200 kilos, right? And so they were huge guys. They're sort of like, I don't know, they'd probably be, you know, more at home playing American football. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you look. I know what you mean, man. Because I played semi-pro football there, and I remember, man, when it's just a funny story. We were playing a team, and this is when I knew it was time for me to hang it up. Is we played these guys, and it was actually from the islands, and this one cat was about 6 feet, 225. I said, yeah, it's time for me to hang it up, man. I can't compete with this. I was too small. I was basically the equivalent of what Vieira is. So I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. And this is why I said I've told leaders time and time again. If this club is going to keep that young man, he needs to be moved on to a club. He needs to be on loan to a championship team, a relatively decent team where he can become a man. Because bringing him on in the Premier League against these giants, look at Brighton's back line. Brighton's back line alone, Newcastle's back line. These giants, and then you've got these. We're buying these players, Tony, that are minuscule. Or you look at our players, and they're not muscular enough. This is why when you talk, Warren, about something's not right. It's just like even down to the training. We got players that stay injured. We've got players that, like Saliba. They say, oh, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. I told Tony, what did I tell you? I told y'all, I said a back injury is the worst injury to get because that's typically almost 6 months. That's a muscular issue. You have to kind of wait for that to heal itself. And so when you hear this stuff about we got players out, and then they'll tell you, well, it's 2 weeks. But in reality, it's almost a year, 2 years. So you end up with a player that's on a contract. You got it for three or 4 years. They lose a year. And then so now you this merry-go-round. This is why this thing we were talking about earlier with Saka, I hope to God that the boy stays healthy because he's locked in for 4 years. We can't afford for that price, you cannot afford him to lose any time with him. Because if you end up doing it, now you in over your head, man. Over here in America, we say you upside down. So,
Matt, you better pray, that our players won't get injured next season because of Win, the new dog that came to Arsenal this season. Let's pray that these players won't get injured because of that. The dog that was brought in to have a feel-good moment. When I see all this news, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. When other teams are out there identifying players that will come in and put in a shift for them, see, we're not even talking about all these things. We're talking about when a dog for a feel-good moment. We're talking of a player, 17-year-old in Corinthians. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart, so I don't know. For some reason, I don't want us to win that match tomorrow. I'm sorry. Because if we win that match tomorrow, there's something in my head that just feels like this board, you just say, we'll have enough. I'm sorry. Something just tells me that this board will come up with some excuse. So I want it to be deep tomorrow. And either way, we can even genuinely lose against Wolves, right? Who are we bringing in that defense, Give your who might be tying his shoelace again tomorrow, or Rob Holding, who would come in. Are you confident in these players? Do they look like matadors to you? Do these guys look like superheroes that will lay down their lives for the Arsenal badge, for the Arsenal shirt? No, Matt, I'm talking to you.
Oh no, you being serious. Hey,
it's true because whenever I bring this Rob Holding issue, people are on my neck. Is this guy going to? Is he going to?
No.
What is he bringing to this football club?
Tony,
how are people so settled with Mohamed El Neni still in that football club, congesting the amount of money we'll have for wages and bringing in new players? How are we so okay with this? Other teams, Manchester United are identifying Kane as a replacement. For their striking problems. Kane, who scored 29 goals this season in the Premiership. That's what they're thinking of bringing. Kimne from Napoli. That's what all these teams are targeting. And we're out here totally messing up. It breaks my heart. And it took this bottling of this league to really totally open my eyes, this season, It's a humble pie for me to chew because I really wanted Arsenal to win the league this season. And I'm sorry, they broke my heart. My heart.
Jazz brought up something yesterday on the American Idiots. He said it several times.
Shout out to Jazz.
Shout out to
legend.
In the chat, legend. We still rolling today, Jazz. Like I said, it's just a good conversation, man. If you look at these teams, I mean, you look at our team. And there's a tide because just Tony, I've watched it with you from when we first started from talking in January up to now. Yeah. And I was going to bring this up earlier and it slipped my mind, but you just made me think about it. Is that, Tony, you look at this thing, and I can tell you've been doing some serious thought about this because a rational fan is going to sit back and look and ask yourself, how did we blow this? How did we do this? 93% of the season we were at the top, and then you have to watch. We had to watch them lift the trophy last week. That's something that something is not right. Mm-hmm. And then for them to come back, and as I played the audio today, you hear people saying we didn't bottle it. If you believe Arsenal bottled it, then you didn't believe we challenged. All this stupid spin and all this stuff. You cannot make what is wrong right. You cannot make what is wrong right. And the bottom line here is this: that we're going to have to everybody in this circle of fans. In this circle of rationality, as I call it, the circle of rational, the league of rational gentlemen is what I'm going to start referring to us as. The league of rational gentlemen, not extraordinary gentlemen, the league of rational gentlemen, because you have to start hammering this point home. We are no further different where we are now in the Champions League than we were under Wenger. We wanted Wenger out. For less than. Now you circle back a couple years later, and what was not acceptable then is acceptable now. Why? Because the fan base has been programmed like robot drones. You got drones out there, like something off of Star Wars.
Brother Matt, you make that sound good, man.
It's something like off of Star Wars. Somebody has executed Order 66, and so now they press the button, and now you've got the drones out doing the talking. And so tomorrow we're all gonna be sitting on. I'll be sitting on Lee's panel. You'll be doing your watch along. Warren will be doing his Sunday afternoon, and you're gonna start seeing the fans. They're gonna come out. What a great season this was. If you don't know what Arteta's doing, then you can fuck off down the lane. They're going to be just out there. But then the one thing, like I told you, Warren, what I told you earlier, I said on that sheet of paper you got, you put down Chelsea, you put down Liverpool, you put down Man City, Man United, and then you can even throw Tottenham down there and watch how many players that they get of quality in the offseason. And then they'll tell you, and then you watch. You look at that column and then go look at our column, and you tell me was the Champions League or this Champions League qualification hyped up to be what it is. Players like Warren Holding should not even be looked at to come back next year. Players like Vieira should be loaned out or either sold. Reece Nelson
shouldn't be.
Reece
Nelson shouldn't be rejecting us in any way. This player should be booted out of the football club.
That shows you how low we have fallen, Tony. That shows you how we have fallen. A player refuses to play for the Arsenal, Warren, and then we beg him to play.
We beg him with a deal. We beg him with a deal.
Yeah, like we're posting somebody.
It's shocking, man. It's disgraceful.
It's disgraceful. Like we Millwall up posting somebody.
Ourselves in the transfer window.
This is one of the reasons that I want a lot of emphasis put on the youth development, because if we can get the youth development right, we can bring in players, more players with potential to become world class that will have a feeling for the club, and they will not just lay down and accept defeat. They won't, because they'll be supporters of the club as well. The problem is we've got a bunch of players, except probably for Saka, who've got no feeling for the club. They're not Arsenal fans. Do you know what I mean? And this we need to address it, because there are other teams around the world who will have players in their team who are supporters of the team that they're playing for, and they're able to give that extra bit to help get the team over the line, and they will help galvanize the rest of the players in the team. Because I'm going to say something you're probably going to find difficult to believe, but I don't think we did bottle it, the league title. I think the club told the players, that's it, we've achieved what we wanted to achieve. There's no need to do any more.
Put it past them.
Because after that game against Liverpool, we had virtually assured Europa League qualification. And it was exactly the same moment last season when we virtually secured Europa League qualification. The exact same thing happened. When we secured Europa League qualification, the season fell apart. And it happened this year as well. Because after the game at Anfield, we were too far ahead of the other contenders for Europa League for them to catch us, right? They could, if we'd lost every game and they'd won every game, they would have caught us. But there's no way that you're going to see Arsenal losing 8-9 games on the bounce and not be able to secure Europa League qualification, because that's what it would have taken. And to me, it's no... So when you look at the win percentage, it went from something like 80, 90% down to about something like 35, 40. So that tells me something dramatic happened.
Yeah.
And the only thing, and it happened last year too.
Yep. Sure did.
And I think it's because they had the objective, the target, despite all these club officials, journalists, and everyone else in the media said that the target was top 4. I don't think it was. I think the real target was to qualify again for the Europa League. And as soon as that was achieved, that was it. Game over.
Yeah. Even if I believe that we bottled that league, but sometimes you have to see, this could all even be a conspiracy theory at the same time. See, do you guys remember at a time when Zini was in those games, whenever there was a goal scored, whenever there was a push, this guy will come out and, shake the fans a little bit, and, that energy was there. In the last 10 games of the season, this guy just fizzled out. None of those leadership skills were being passed on again. It was like, he was like a dead player. I didn't see that passion again. I didn't see him riling up the fans again. I didn't see it. Just went completely dead. So, in as much as I want to deny what Warren said, again, you have to think about it. Maybe these guys have already said, in the back room, see, I think we've achieved what we want to achieve this season. It's a big major possibility right now. Even if I do think we totally
if it was
bottled
just
that league in a horrible way.
If it was one season out off the cuff, I tend to agree with this notion that they bottled it. But for it to happen twice, 2 years running, there's something fishy. And there's lots of fishies stinking at Arsenal. That is the problem.
Yeah, I told you.
It is. There's so much stuff going on that is weird and just doesn't make sense until you actually really deeply look into it. Now, I know, the stuff that I do on Diesel's channel and all the rest of it, I've got a bit of a thing about conspiracy theories and all the rest of it. And I know this sounds like a bit of a conspiracy, and it probably is. It's likely that I've got it wrong, but there's something not right.
That's fact.
It just doesn't happen too.
That's fact. That's fact. Even Baghev is asking Warren, why would they do that? Then you have to ask Baghev, why would these guys bring a dog for a feel-good moment in a year when you've just bottled
the league a week later?
See, at the back end of an historical bottling of the league, and then we go win the dog for a feel-good moment after bottling the league. See, man, Baghev, you can't ask why they do this. You can't possibly ask that question, right?
That's the thing. I don't know, but what I do know, the results. I know. I saw the results. And I saw what happened when we secured Europa League qualification last year, and I saw what happened this year, right? And I'm not convinced it's not got something to do with the Kroenkes as well.
Yeah, you know,
Exactly.
over here.
Sorry, let me just put this point
Yep.
across. Yeah, and again, Arsenal, we have a problem with what's called timing. See, yeah, even in the Bible, yeah, it tells you, it teaches you, it's a perfect place where you learn about timing. There's a time for everything. Even the Bible, it tells you so. A time to grow, a time to drink, a time for everything. Yeah,
A time for transfer.
It's in the Bible. That's where you learn. Arsenal don't understand anything about timing. Yeah. Aaron Ramsdale gifts the ball.
Oh man, y'all forgot about
to
that.
Southampton players, yeah, to score a goal on his 25th birthday. On the day that's supposed to be Aaron Ramsdale's 25th birthday, he gifts a goal to Brighton Football Club.
5-year deal.
What? A game after that game, do you know what happened, brother Matt?
5-year
deal.
deal.
Deal on the table.
Yeah, you're right.
A new deal on the table for Aaron Ramsdale. Yeah, like gift the goals to these guys, bottle the league, and get a new deal. So I don't really understand if we do understand the concept of timing. How about like sign in a replacement goalkeeper, yeah, and tell Aaron Ramsdale, you know what? We have someone who is competent enough to give you a push when you mess up, and then take this 5-year deal contract maybe in the next 2 months. How about that? How about that? Encourage competitiveness in the team. How about that? Our timing in this football club is horrible. It's a horror show. It's like a script, yeah, from Annabelle, the movie, the horror movie, yeah. That's just, it reeks of horrible stories, yeah. How is this? I don't understand this, man. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm pissed off, yeah. Southern Gunner. I'm not fit fine.
This is why I wanted to have the stream today.
I'm angry right now, man.
Yeah,
and tomorrow we're going to lose again. Tomorrow we're going to lose.
You should be upset. You know what? If you made this far into the season as Arsenal fan, I know we running late, but like I told you, it's a Saturday. It ain't like we got anything to play for tomorrow. So it's about all we can do is talk about this wretched club right now. You know, if you're an Arsenal fan and you are not upset right now, considering this is the last day, and Lee Gunner would tell you, I got messages telling Lee, we're getting ready. We're gonna have a good time, man. We're gonna celebrate this title. So for everybody that think we don't want to win the title, you out of your mind. We all wanted to win this title, but then there's a such thing as reality, and the reality started sitting in for me when we played Man City the first time and lost. When we put out that weak team, and I said to myself, psychologically, we have lost the battle because they're going to start thinking, oh, well, this is nothing to this Arsenal team, man. We can beat them. And that's exactly what happened. We are weak mentally up and down the club. We're weak mentally up and down the club. There's not one player in that team I can look at this year. And so when I say Warrior, Zulu,
Warriors. We don't have
somebody that don't mind running with the Bulls. Running with the Bulls with a red shirt on. We don't have anybody that's in that team that does not that can get out and run with the Bulls with a red shirt on. Not one. Now, you're trying to find a warrior in this team is the same thing as trying to find Jimmy Hoffa. You are not going to do it. Not going to do it. We have got a lot of surgery that needs to be done in this team. We've got a lot that needs to. It's a lot, and as Warren stated, there is in fact something wrong with this club, and we're going to talk about it throughout this summer. This is not the only time we all getting together. We're going to be doing this pretty much all summer. So everybody in the chat, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Make sure that y'all go support both of these outstanding gentlemen. Warren's Team Talk. Subscribe. Warren, can you drop the link to the petition in the chat?
Yeah.
We need people. We need people.
And Warren has a great show coming tomorrow, so you guys should please follow that up and go support Warren also tomorrow. I think Warren, it's tomorrow, right? That you have a show.
Yeah, that's right. It starts at 2:30.
Yep.
On my channel.
And I loved it, Warren. I love your intros, by the way. It takes me back when I was a kid watching football as a kid. I love it. I love that 80s sound.
Right, I'm just putting the link into the chat. Hold on. I'm just trying to think how. All right, hold on. Just give me 2 secs.
Take your time. Take your time. He's gonna drop the link in there. And you all make sure y'all we've got enough people in here that we need to put some names on that petition. Tony, tomorrow, who you got coming over for your watch along?
So my thing tomorrow is starting at 4:00. Sorry, not 2:30.
Okay. Tony, who you got coming on tomorrow for your watch along? Or you by yourself? I think Tony might have internet. Can you hear me, Tony? Yo.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
I was going crazy. I was going crazy. Yep. So what you got going on tomorrow for what you watch along?
I'm sorry, man. I'm not doing a watch along tomorrow, man. I have this funny feeling we'll get beaten tomorrow. I have this feeling we'll get beaten
brother,
tomorrow.
that might be best for you.
It might be disgraceful tomorrow, man. I hate to be at the back end of that. I'll just sit back, I have a couple of good soft drinks and just or a bottle of red wine and just watch the match. If I smell anything fishy, I just leave and go have go prepare the war drums at least for me and you for the summer. Yeah, we have to prepare for that. Yeah, we're the last custodians. We have to do this because these guys, they have to give us a good summer. They have to give us a good summer. They have to bring in players and help this team. Yeah, and I'm not on Matt yet, but me and you have talked about all this. Yeah, we don't want these big pack players. We don't want these pensioners from Chelsea Football Club. We're not looking for Mason Mount. We're not looking for Gundogan. We're not looking for all these pensioners who want to come and have a feel-good moment.
No
country
win.
No, we don't want that. No. We don't want these guys that just want to come and have a feel-good moment or feel comfortable like Cedric, who wants to leave Fulham and come to Arsenal to come and be comfortable. Yeah? They want to come and have a good time with the dog. Win. No, we don't want that this summer. We want players, matadors, superheroes, godlike fairy people who will come in and play for this football club. Put their lives on the line when they play and when they don that shirt, That's what I want. I want snipers. I want assassins, in this football club who will come in here and put up a shift. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to see a backup for Bukayo Saka. I want to see a backup for Aaron Ramsdale. We've been talking about this, because he's out there looking at Matt Turner as a clown. He's looking at that guy saying, look, is this what you have to offer to me? Is this what you have to offer to me? He's just looking at the Arsenal faithfuls and looking and laughing because that guy's not even pushing him at all. It's a joke. It's an absolute... See, he looks at Matt Turner as a clown. This guy won't push him. Just go ask Man City. There's no disgrace. There's no shame in going to Man City and studying their blueprint on how to manage modern day football. Go there, learn. Beg to understand trade secrets. Yeah? Understand how these guys go to the market, how they conduct their recruitment. How they conduct good medical procedures, Go in. They're your rivals. I don't know what's really going on, Go and study. And understand the dynamics on how to improve the football club, who will be run by knuckleheads and numbskulls down there that these guys don't know what they're doing. They're all knuckleheads, Because I want to be seeing people like Declan Rice coming into the football club. And then early this morning, I woke up feeling very happy, and then this morning I'm seeing that Arsenal is going for a 17-year-old in Corinthians that have been shut down by a particular guy from Galatasaray. See, I've not heard this name before in world football. It's a total mess.
The only time you need to hear Galatasaray.
It's a mess. And guys, please come follow me on Claude Gunner TV. Just come and show me love. See, I'm a positive gunner. I have a different understanding of what a positive gunner is. I'm that kind of guy that I want to support my team to the end, yeah? When we're on session, yeah, I want to support the team. I want to give them my full backing, yeah, to go out and win. But it comes with a caveat. If they do anything wrong, I call it, yeah? If they do right, I call it. That's it. So that's why I'm a positive gunner. Come and join me, yeah, on Claude Gunner TV. And of course, me and Southern Gunner is my brother. It comes down to my show. And of course, I'll oblige the same way to come to his own show too. You know, I've had a couple of discussions with Warren, very, very intellectual ones too. When I came to the show, I think I came to Del Boy's channel, and the reception, it was Warren that was handling the show that day.
That's
the
right.
reception,
I remember that. I was hosting it for Del Boy.
That was great. In as much as I do respect you, you look like a father figure to me. So big ups to you, man. I really appreciate you for what you did that day. And I've seen you talk about football, you know, in most places, mostly in Jess channel too. You've been there once in a while. Jess has also had discussions with you too. I've seen most of them. Everyone who knows me know that I also respect Jess too. So, you know, big ups to you. Warren, and of course to my brother, the Southern Gunner.
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, always good to see you, brother. And I don't want to hear Galatasaray's name coming up unless we selling El Nene over there.
No,
but I think
big ups Anthony Herbert to just join the show.
Everybody in the chat, yeah, everybody in the chat, man. Shout out. Thank you all for sticking in there with us. I know we had a marathon stream today, but I kind of figured that's what it was going to be, considering we were all off work today. So I knew we were going to have a good time. And then just the conversation just got really good, man, and I really enjoyed it. Warren, I appreciate you coming through, man. We chat all the time during the week. It's good to see you, my friend. We'll see a lot of each other this summer, so just hold tight. We're going to have a end of the year show coming up soon here. Starting next week, we're gonna probably do it again next weekend or next Friday, whatever. But me and Tony, we're gonna round up the transfer roundup news for the week. So we'll discuss that, and we're gonna monitor this thing throughout the summer because we're gonna hold our feet to the fire this year. I'm gonna play this again to let this sink in, and then we're gonna be out the door, y'all. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I'm going to watch a little bit of this second half of the EFL championship here, where you got some guys playing it out like it means something to them. And congratulations to Bayern Munich. That's what we should have been doing, is battling it to the last kick. Instead, we bottle it to the last kick, and we're gonna bottle it tomorrow too. 1-1 draw. That's what I got tomorrow. All right, and we are out.
Then when the games are, because they win, then you've got to win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They win. They always seem to play before you. They it's just constant pressure, and it just gets to you.
It does. And, you know, people use the bottle term, which to me is a nonsense, because if you're saying that Arsenal bottled it, it means that you thought Arsenal were going to win it, which to me means that you didn't really know what this team was about. You didn't really understand the sort of mechanics underneath the bonnet of this team. Yes, on the surface it looked great, but we were quite fortunate with injuries in the first few months of the season. Apart from the loss of Jesus, there was nothing else really significant. Zinchenko had missed a few weeks here and there. Odegaard missed one game at Brentford. Tomiyasu was in and out a little bit, but generally speaking, the health of the side was really good. But if you knew it's like when you go and buy a car, you go and buy a second-hand car. If you don't know what you're looking at, how do you know what you're buying? You open the bonnet, but you don't know what you're looking at. And people that thought that Arsenal were going to cruise to the Premier League title, in my opinion, did not understand where this team were actually at.